All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the party. Specifically, vibrant, visible, victorious, and all BIMPOC actual play stream. Today, we are going to be playing Pasión de las Pasiones by the wonderful Brandon Leon Gambetta, now on Kickstarter. Can we get a Pasión in the chat? There it is. You can go check it out right now and back it with your dollars. It's a wonderful game. We are going to be diving into the romance and broken hearts and love triangles that are telenovelas. But before we get into all the fun stuff, I would like to go over some of our sponsors for the stream. Huge thanks to Tabletop Loot, our amazing dice sponsor. They are providers of fine dice for all of your gaming needs. Head on over to tabletoploot.com and use the code WTTPDICE to get 15% off your next purchase. Maddie and his amazing merch shop are the sole provider of Welcome to the Party merch, so head over to sonerdwear.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdwear, it's what the nerds wear. Welcome to the Party is now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the virtual tabletop that runs straight out of your browser. We're using it tonight, right now, for dice rolls and for music. Everything you need to play with your friends is ready at the click of a mouse, from click-to-roll character sheets to built-in video and voice chat. You can even upload your own maps and tokens. Get all that and more with a free basic account on roll20.net. Sign up now at roll20.net/start/WTTP. And finally, Welcome to the Party is proudly sponsored by Devin Rue, the Mistress of Maps, who has provided huge support to the community since we launched. For some of the best cartographical content on the web, check out rueinc.com. That's RUE Inc.com. Our Patreon not only goes to support the channel and the people who support it, your generosity allows us to keep working on our mission to platform amazing LGBTQ and BIMPOC players and creators. So please check out the Patreon, patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg. And as always, join us on our amazing Discord. You'll meet a lot of great people, and it's a great place to hang out. So, with all of that bookkeeping out of the way, I would like to introduce the wonderful players that we have assembled here today that I am so excited to see and play games with. We'll start from on the Zoom call. Let's say my right, and we'll go around, which is Mariam. Please tell us your name and your pronouns, and your character name and their pronouns.
So I am Miriam with they, them pronouns, and today I will be playing the LaDonna playbook, and my character's name is Ana Ortiz Santos de Dios. Hopefully I pronounced that correct. And she goes by her pronouns.
Fantastic. I'm going to go around by my little clockwise clock, so that brings me to Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing, what is her full name? I'm going to be playing Evita, Evita Garcia Perez, who is La Empleada playbook, and she uses she, her pronouns.
Fab. Next, I have Amr.
Hey, I'm Amr Emerez. I will be playing Andrea Perez, who uses they, them pronouns, and they are El Caballero.
Fantastic. And last but certainly not least, John.
Well, gonna point down there because I am John. I am pronouns he, him, and I'm playing Ina Ortiz Santos de Dios. No relation, definitely, to Ana. And that
None
is
at
backed
all.
up completely by the fact that I'm playing out of El Gemelo, the playbook, which is the twin. So,
super excited to see how this all works. So, let's talk briefly about what kind of game this is and what you can expect to see. We'll introduce some of the setting for the show that we are watching together, that we're all participating in, and then we'll jump right into the juicy meat and potatoes that is the gameplay. So Pasión de las Pasiones is a telenovela-based RPG powered by the Apocalypse. If you're familiar with other PBTA games, you already know the mechanics. Mostly, this game is about emotion right? It's all about high drama. So when people are doing things, they are not hacking and slashing like you would in another game. You are not defying danger. You are demanding what you deserve. You are expressing your love passionately. We are having flashbacks to things. And nobody can ever really die. So when we face certain death, maybe you come back with a bout of crippling amnesia, or you come back as an evil twin version of yourself. We'll find out. We will play to find out what happens. But so what we are doing is we are all playing characters in this telenovela, in this soap opera, the Spanish-speaking language soap opera. And we are going to take these characters through a bunch of challenging situations. But we're also sort of playing the audience, right? If we can imagine when we're not in a scene with our characters, we're also part of a family that is sitting around a TV and watching and rooting for different characters. You know, we care. Well, El Caballero bravely stands in front of their love and declares that they will never allow harm to come to them, right? We boo and we hiss when El Jefe comes into the scene with his cruel ways and his criminal machinations. You know, we are hearts athrob when La Belleza collapses across the veranda like a lost piece of history. These are all the different things that are sort of happening. So we're both, it's meta, right? We're playing the game and we're playing the audience. So as to the specific telenovela that we're looking at tonight, tonight we're using the playset that is included in the Quick Start rules, which are available for free right dang now on Drive-Thru RPG. Go over there and download them right away. Otherwise, if you're going through the Kickstarter link, the link is there as well. We're playing La Rosa Querida. So every session of Pasion has a playset, which gives us a setting and some drama and some characters and a scenario. And today, I will read to you what we are dealing with. So the show that the character, this is what the characters would know about the world that they live in. La Rosa, as it is most often called, is a posh upper-class hotel nestled in the cliffs above a clear crystal bay. The hotel is lavish with white marble and beautifully tiled mosaics and seafoam green backsplashes. Enormous twisting pools circle the hotel with bars dotted along the patio. The elite come to La Rosa not simply to sleep and dine in the finest accommodations, but to rub elbows, make deals, and further enrich themselves. It is among this finery that our story unfolds, the fine crystal and shimmering chandeliers offering myriad reflections of the sins that make us feel most alive. As to what you, the viewer, knows, having watched this show for a long time, now 70 episodes into its run, La Rosa Querida has been beloved for bringing a new passion to an often formulaic setting. It began strong, the introductions of betrayals and mistrusts, leaving watchers gasping. An early important character, Elena Teresita Galindo, has triumphantly returned after 30 episodes off screen, having claimed incredible celebrity. She returns to the wedding of La Rosa's heir, her best friend who has asked her to witness the wedding of the century. But not everyone has well wishes for the ceremony. Last episode, we saw a hand gloved in white silk, hiding a weapon in the glove compartment of the limousine while holding a picture of our dear Elena. We will find out how that plays out. But before we get going into the game, so we know a bit about who our characters are and what they do. So each of the playbooks in this game is based around a certain trope in telenovelas. So for example, Ana, Mariam is playing La Doña. She is sort of a scheming older character. Who has these machinations and pulling the strings, right? The spider, and everyone else is in their web. Evita is la empleada, the employee, someone who works at wherever the game is taking place. They are a precious, sweet cinnamon roll. You must protect them. They are being courted by other people in the game. That is, there's a whole mechanic around that, and they are frequently in over their heads, listening in at doors they shouldn't. Andrea is El Caballero, so the gentleman, the cowboy, sort of the bold and brave type, very stoic, rushes headlong into danger. And Ina is El Gemelo, so the twin, right? Ina is secretly Anna's twin, which maybe not everyone knows about. So there's powers about that. For everybody, we have answered some questions already off screen about the setting, but I would like for us to take a moment and have everyone tell us a character who used to be on the show but was cut. Anybody have a thing they want to say for that? Otherwise, I can throw out an idea.
I was gonna say probably the previous owner.
Yes. So, did we still want to go with the idea of character connections that we talked about?
Maybe alter it a little bit, considering I
Yeah.
am a suitor at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
So probably just I imagine more of a maybe more of a cutthroat kind of like, nope, I want to clear the way for my scheme.
Got it.
Which we'll get into at some point.
Yeah. So Rosa, obviously, the beloved owner of the hotel, was on the show, but recently was cut, perhaps due to a contract negotiation or creative differences. But either way, they're no longer with us on the show. A romantic scene that had people gasping. Do we know what that is? Otherwise, I'll throw something out in there.
I got derailed, but I was like, wow, that's a great idea for like a chat donation thing. What was the romantic scene, chat? You tell us. But that meant that I preoccupied my entire brain with that idea and contributed nothing helpful.
You're valid. I think we know a few things about the characters that are in the show and who we have. Perhaps it was a moment where Alma La Casa, who is the maitre d' of the hotel that we know, stole a kiss from one of the other characters somewhere behind somebody else's back. So maybe we didn't necessarily see who it was. We just saw that Alma, who is usually straight-laced and very business, very forward, is seen in the shadows with her trademark jacket for the hotel wrapped in somebody else's arms. Something's hidden in one of the rooms that only the viewers have seen. I know what I would pick.
What would you pick?
I would pick a weapon of some kind, like somebody's drawer, like maybe in Rosa's drawer. There's like a beautiful pearl-handled revolver or something like that.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that's kicking around. And the tragic accident that apparently befell the previous owner. I think we already decided that a heart attack.
Yeah, a heart attack.
Yeah, so
Clearly.
She died of a heart attack somehow, right?
Happens all the time.
There was maybe like a small it's hard to portray on television, but sort of like a small acrid smell, like electric wires or something.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so in each playset too, there are some bottom lines. These are things that really set the tone for the whole playset and will kind of guide the rest of our play. And those are who has a claim on the hotel and who participates in the day-to-day business of the hotel, right? This is the meat and potatoes. This is like the nitty-gritty details. So I believe we decided that Anna has a claim on the hotel right now. Does anybody else technically have one, do they feel, or is it just Anna? Ina, yeah. Yep. Extension. Yep. Ina is attempting to make a claim on the hotel.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and who participates in the day-to-day business of the hotel? Obviously, it's Evita. Right?
Yeah, I think Evita works at the hotel as like a sommelier.
Yeah.
But we had decided that the plot back at the beginning of the show was that her resume had said sommelier on it, and they assumed that she was like a master sommelier who's like this incredibly professional person, but really it meant that she had only taken the like 2-day introductory sommelier course. So she's not like certified or professional or knows what she's doing or anything. But because she was recommended by Anna, who is like a very powerful, important person, that just sort of went through anyway, and she became hired for this job that she's fully not qualified to do.
Was it like
she knows enough of the lingo
tours?
At this point? Yeah.
Was it like those vacation tours, like where you go like vineyard hopping?
Yeah, for sure. There's like a little, you too can be a sommelier, and she was like, oh, okay.
Oh. And I think we also said that Anna is involved because Rosa may own the hotel, but Anna has the money and the staff to keep it running. So Anna runs the like catering and service company that all of the people are involved in, right?
Could it be a little like how like Petra from Jane the Virgin type of a thing, where maybe not actually owning the hotel, but like I'm the one who brought it back to its
Yes.
glory.
La Rosa was struggling for years. Rosa herself is like, Anna, my friend, I need money. I need you to help me build this vision. Like it's fallen apart. Couldn't we do something here together? Couldn't we make something greater than both of us? You're like, oh yes, of course, as long as I get a portion of the proceeds. Maybe not said out loud, but that's like, this is my way in.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it. Okay, so so you're technically Evita's employer, like you're her boss. Okay, so we know a few things about the game and the world and the characters that live in it. We'll reveal some of these other details about people as we go through the play. But now we get to do probably my favorite part of this entire game, which is doing the intro sequence. So a very important part of the game is doing like a little opening credits. So y'all can tell me if the volume is too loud, but I'm going to cue the theme song. And roll 20, baby, please. Okay.
Yeah.
So we open up with the initial piano sting. We fade up onto an image of a garden of roses, and we pan up, and there above the roses is the hotel itself. It is all marble and sea foam. There are people walking in and out, but there's a lot of these waiters walking around in white uniforms with trays of sparkling drinks. As they do that, we see a shot of two people taking their glasses, and they clink, and the champagne fizzes, and as the glass raises up to the camera, there is a diamond ring sitting at the bottom. And then we will cut to a shot of one of the characters. Who does the camera cut to? And what are you doing?
Guess I'll go first.
Okay.
So Anna is probably at her office desk, or actually no, not the office desk, is in the reception of the lobby, looking like she's directing people around, and sort of gives a very meaningful very meaningful gaze at a character that I think should be Evita, as Evita gets closer.
Yeah. So I think I catch your eye and like kind of blush and look away, and then she like goes down into the sort of like dark, cobwebby cask of Amontillado looking like wine cellar catacombs under the hotel, and she like pulls out a wine bottle from it, and then we can see her like peering through the space where the wine bottle was and seeing something on the other side, being like,
I think
I love that.
So I think what she sees is Andrea walking across one of the hotel balconies, and then suddenly there are three masked figures, and they're holding a rose, and they throw up the rose, and pow, 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 the three figures fall, and they catch the rose in their teeth. And they pass off a meaningful look with the rose in their teeth, and we see Ina.
I think that's great, because I think Ina sort of steps out from behind Andrea, sort of looks over at the people, sort of pulls a fan out, flicks it, and then just sort of turns away from the camera, as if as in sort of in the direction where if you went up in the hotel, it would go towards Anna. Like, they know where Anna is every time. Doesn't matter where in the hotel they are, they just know.
And then maybe as a final thing for specifically this episode, it sort of pans out to the sort of like reception, like a ballroom where it looks like it's setting the stage for a wedding.
Yes.
Aww.
So we see the wedding preparations going around, as the one of the shots, the camera pans like down to one of the waiters' hands as they're walking. They reach into their pocket and pull out a crisp stack of bills and slide it underneath one of the tables, and another gloved hand picks it up and walks away. That hand like pans away into white linen sheets being unfolded as somebody is making a bed. We can't see who they are, but as the bed is made, a knife is hurriedly stuffed underneath the mattress, and that person walks out and closes the door. As the door closes, the camera pans all the way back so that we see a view of the beach and the hotel at evening as the sun is slowly starting to set. And then the camera zooms across the ocean and flies up into the sky. And then in big red cursive, we write out La Rosa Querida.
Oh, that's so
That
good.
That
That's
is
really
the
nice.
situation. I'm sorry that we're having trouble with Roll20 with getting the music to run, but I promise you it was fantastic. If you go to the YouTube Music Project and look up Kamagwe by Silent Partner, you'll have an idea of the vibe we're going for. Anyway, I'm going to keep playing the music on my end, and maybe we'll figure it out, and it'll come to your end. So the players will be immersed, and you will just have to work twice as hard to immerse yourselves. But I'm sure with all of your fabulous imaginations, you'll be able to
Linked
do
it in the chat for y'all.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Thank
There
you.
it is. All right. So let us continue to
Ooh, I could
play the
hear
game.
that in your audio.
Mysteries. We're full of them. So let's get it going here. So here's what we know. It's a wedding. So let's get a shot actually of the wedding itself. So we're in the ballroom of the hotel. It is a massive, sprawling space with these huge arches with mosaic tiles running around them. If you've ever been to Spain, the way that Spanish architecture incorporates Arabic architecture, there's a lot of that influence in the ballroom. It's this very kind of like the Cheesecake Factory, like over the top, extreme gilded everything. It doesn't quite feel right, but it is opulent to say the least. So there's these beautiful archways and huge columns. There's a big balcony overlooking the ocean with billowing turquoise curtains. And there are flowers being brought in. There's a massive cake being pushed out that is just super, super high. And I think Anna is here. And who did we say is getting whose wedding is happening this episode?
Hmm.
Did we?
I don't know if we actually
did.
did. We should figure this out.
No.
We're doing it live. All right. So who's getting married?
Hey,
Is it one of
Vita,
you,
do
or
you
is it
like
a-
getting married?
Oh
No.
boy, my life is complicated enough already.
I
We can make it an NPC too.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say that it is an NPC. So Elena, the recurring character, is here for them. And let's make a new character. Let's call her Maria because we don't have a name yet. Nobody's used that one, and it's a classic trope. So
Yeah.
Maria Lopez is getting married. And who is she? Why do we care about her? Who is she on the show?
Maybe she is the previous owner's daughter.
Fantastic. So yes, she is. It's a bittersweet affair, right? Because
Yeah.
Rosa has only very recently died of a heart attack. Perhaps last episode even. So she's sort of like gone through the whirlwind of the funeral into the into the wedding.
I think she also owns her own chain of hotels that are more successful than this one, and it's expected with her getting this hotel that it folds into her chain.
Ooh, fantastic.
Ooh.
Okay.
And Anna is not happy about that.
Mm-hmm. And who is Maria getting married to?
I don't. Let's see. I think.
It could be another hotel
Yeah.
mogul.
Yeah.
Seems like
Yeah.
there's an idea.
I think her wife might be also a caterer like Anna.
Ooh.
So that
Ooh.
would also be potentially passing the catering of the hotel to new management after
Okay.
this wedding.
It's a
Okay.
double threat.
Yeah.
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 They're gonna go off and leave La Rosa to burn out or be competition.
Yeah. And maybe what the audience knows is that Anna can't afford to take over the hotel yet. So this is why it's the whole no, this is bad news.
Mm.
My machinations are not in place yet.
Yeah, Maria is now an obstacle in your path.
Yeah.
Just like her mother before her. How fitting.
Yes.
And
Yikes.
what is Maria's spouse's name? Carmela.
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 It's Carmela.
Excellent.
Okay. So I'm going to put that in the chat so we don't forget, in our chat at least. Maria and Carmela. All right. So hotel mogul, the heiress to hotel fortune, catering fortune heir. And so in this, they are going over plans to, here's a question. Is Anna catering this party, or is Carmela having her own company do it?
I think there's a bit of a tug of war at the moment because even though Carmela's come in, I've sort of been kind of being very difficult saying, no. We currently have an agreement with this thing to do that. This is going to be cheaper. Trust me. And like, there's every step of the way I'm fighting Carmela.
Mhm.
I think it's got to end up with like Anna controls the kitchens, but with the moment the food is out of the kitchen, it's Carmelo's staff have taken complete control.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's like the compromise that they've sort of landed on. All right, so in this scene we have the two lovers, Maria and Carmela, and they are going over plans with Anna. I think Elena is also here, as she is the best friend of Maria, having been off screen, and so we're giving her a little screen time. And anyone else at any time as we play, if you want to be in a scene, feel free to tag in and say like, oh, and I come through here, or like I've been listening in. In fact, some of you do have moves about that. Like I think La Empleada specifically has a move that's like when you reveal you've been listening this whole time.
And I took that one because it's the best.
It's the best. So you don't have to necessarily say anything. The same is true for Ina. Like when people set scenes with El Gemela, with a twin, if you take the right move, and why would you ever not take this move?
I so did.
It was me. It's secretly my twin this whole time. You thought you were talking to Anna, but it was me, or vice versa. Like, I'm confronting Ina. Like, tough shit.
Yep.
It's Anna. It's so good.
Yes.
So yes, they are talking with Anna, and so Elena, I think so. Elena left, right? Elena, what we know about Elena is that she used to work in the kitchens, and she left to pursue something bigger than herself, and she got really famous and came back. I think she became a pastry chef. So I think this is her cake that she's brought out, and she's wheeling it out, and Maria and Carmela are like, oh my God, Elena, it is incredible. This is so kind. Thank you so much, Maria's like, thank you so much for coming on such short notice. I can't believe that we could pull you away from your busy schedule. Anna, is this up to your standards? Can we maybe serve this beautiful piece? Surely it will last.
And Anna just looks at it, sort of examines the cake, moves around, sort of like giving this once over and says, I suppose it will do. Although really our pastry chef could have easily turned this out a lot sooner if you'd simply said something. And you see in the background the pastry chef kind of sulking and as they're going about their duties.
Yeah.
We a little like background audio of like, I wanted to make the cake.
And like very sharp chopping, like sort of like, taking out their aggression through chopping.
Really aggressively cutting these carrots.
Cutting things and intently staring in the direction of the conversation, just not even.
Yes,
Oh.
staring dagger. Maybe that's the person that plans to murder Elena. We don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
And I say, well, I suppose it will do for now. Have you had a chance to select the wine and the champagne that you will serve the guests? Of course, our sommelier will be happy to take care of that for you. She's quite knowledgeable in all of these things, and she is integral to this hotel.
Maria says, "Oh yes, of course. We wouldn't imagine having anyone else but Evita. She's fantastic. Carmela, my love, have you met Evita?" And Carmela's like, "Oh no, I don't. I don't think I've made her acquaintance yet. We must. We simply must meet. If she is as good as Anna says, then we would not want anyone else to be in charge of such a special day."
Well,
And
yeah.
does it just so happen that I walk in right then?
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
How convenient.
So what does it look like? So first, I don't think we've established necessarily what these characters look like. So we'll start with Maria and Carmela to give you each time to think of your descriptions. So Maria, I think, is she's 5'8", looks like medium tan skin. She's got dark raven hair that is long and flowing. And Carmela is like 5'10". She's very athletic. She's very sporty. She has short cropped hair that's maybe like dyed a fun color. Like maybe it's pink, kind of like a punky pixie cut. But she's still very like, she's got the suit. Maria is like very soft. Maybe a nice extravagant dress, like a kind of a velvety number. And Anna, what are you wearing and what do you look like?
So I'm definitely wearing black as sort of a, first of all, with the whole kind of sudden death funeral, it would look very bad. It would look very faux pas if the sort of hotel manager wasn't mourning for the previous owner.
Yes.
So definitely sort of this tasteful black that looks businessy, but also is like a sign of mourning. And I actually, this is something I think with John, I would like to go over because this was mostly your inspiration. And I want to make sure you get to.
Honestly, at this point for me, it's I am perfectly hit with you keep going and I will make slight alterations as I go because the audience needs to know that we're different.
Okay. So definitely a very sort of tall, but also very imposing, like very stern, strict. Like I've, you can tell that there's this, she had to do a lot of work to get to where she is, and she's not going to let anyone step in her way. So a very severe demeanor, but also very, very is still beautiful, but has aged a little. Maybe more so because of the stress of life rather than aging.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a gray streak in the hair, but like it looks really good.
with all the sort of like fantasy colors that are happening now in real life, the white streak looks like a platinum blonde streak.
Yeah.
And is like probably in her like mid-30s.
Okay, fabulous. And as Evita comes into the scene, what is Evita wearing?
Let's see, I think she has to be wearing the like fancier version of the hotel staff outfit.
Yeah.
And since the hotel has a lot of seafoam in it, I think it's like seafoam and black. Like it's got lots of seafoam, and then there's like just stark black on like the edges and stuff, like big thick black borders around things.
Oh, killing it.
In my head, it looks just ridiculously elaborate, like almost like a matador's outfit. Just
yes! With a little bolero jacket?
Yeah, a little jacket.
A professional bolero jacket.
Yes. And like, the long trousers, and the camera doesn't go down as far as her feet, so I don't know what she's wearing on them.
Yeah,
and I think she's got sort of messy hair.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can tell that she's tried to put it sort of back into a bun, but it's like too long, or it's not quite long enough, so it keeps like coming out. So she's got like little wavy bits hanging down, framing her face, sort of like a medium brown hair. She's sort of unassuming.
Kind of a plain Janey kind of thing.
Yeah.
My question to you is does your is the uniform flattering or not?
I think it is. I think it looks really good on her.
Yeah.
And like probably better than like the sense of style that she normally wears. Like she gets into her uniform for work and you're like, this is better. This is better than what you were wearing.
A key thing in telenovelas in this game is like status is really important, right? Like everyone is throwing around like fistfuls of money with reckless abandon, and like the differences between social stratas are super important. So I feel like this is like when Evita gets up in the morning, she's like, oh yeah, I could have this. This is who I could be. I want a taste of this. So Evita comes in, and
can I suggest?
Yes.
And y'all feel free to shoot this down, but I come in alongside Evita. I don't know if like we're just chatting or if we're all the way hand in hand. I'll leave that up to you, Evita. But
let's say we were holding hands in the hallway, and then I spot Anna, and I sort of like slyly slide my hand out of yours.
So we do like a behind the shoulder shot of the two of you, like, and you must meet Marcemelier. We jump cut to the hallway as you're walking, and we pan down for a second and we see a pair of hands intertwined, and then we get a front shot of the ballroom as Maria says, we wouldn't trust anyone else, and the door opens and we immediately see like, hand goes to the side. So tell us about Andrea.
Yeah, so Andrea is they're tall, they have short wavy brown hair. They're wearing a bright pink shirt that it has like 3 undone buttons.
Yes, naturally.
Yes. They're wearing shorts alongside of it, I believe. I think like a light blue or light gray sort of blend.
Ooh.
And very casual looking, but they feel like they fit in despite this being a very classy place.
So you're like you stand out, but in a way that like
yeah,
you're part of the architecture to a certain extent. Fabulous.
Okay.
Okay.
And Evita is definitely a lot shorter too, so like you're much taller of the
like
couple.
I think I'm at least over 6 foot something.
There's a whole ship dynamic here going on.
Yeah.
The audience is already like, before anything happened on screen, they were like, oh please give this to us.
And I think as first Evita enters, I sort of smile, and then Andrea enters, and my lips burst. And if I could scowl, I would scowl, but this is business, so it's just like...
Scowling is for personal time and in polite company.
Yeah, just...
Yeah, strong, right. Here's my question to Anna. Do you know about what is going on between Evita and Andrea?
Maybe not.
Okay. So as they come in, I think they're trying to hide their hands. And like they know something is like they don't want to show this off necessarily. Do you think that it would be right to spot something out of place with their social interaction?
I feel for drama, yes, I should start being suspicious.
Yeah, I don't think Andrea
but I have other
it.
reasons. But I feel for other reasons. In addition to the possible, you're also vying for Evita's affections. But there's other reasons why I'm scowling. This is just one more thing to add to it.
Cool.
Yeah, because I don't think Andrea tries to hide it. Like, I put the skullduggery behind me, so like I respect that Evita is trying to keep it on the down low, and I'll keep it on the down low with her, but I'm not actively trying to hide it.
Right. I'm not ashamed of our love. Why would I be?
Yeah, no.
How dare you? Fabulous. Okay, so you come up, and Maria rushes over to Evita and immediately like grabs you by the hands and pulls you back towards the party. We were just speaking of you. You must be Evita. We are so honored to have you in this wonderful and trying time. We were told you were the best of the best, and so we would like to go over the wine list with you.
Yes, of course. I have it, and she's like searching her pockets, and then she goes, of course. Then she like waves over to another functionary employee who comes over and hands her that. I think that we get a momentary flashback of her just Googling like top 100 most fancy wines for wedding, and then like copying a couple things down from it. So
there's like a little soft focus filter as we see that, right?
So she brings the list out, and she hasn't written down like prices next to any of them, so it's not like very helpful.
Yeah.
But she just starts rattling off like, oh yes, there's the Duc Besson de l'Orange 84. I recommend that, very highly. There's the Relampagos de los Santos 82. An excellent vintage, of course. It might go better if now what is the meal list like? Are we having fish, or that's going to be very important.
And so Carmela is like, oh yes, we were going to have a chicken and a fish option, I think. And Carmela, Maria, were you? And it's at that moment that Maria just is like holding the wine list, and she just collapses into Evita's arms and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm thinking about my mother. She loved the Duc Besson d'Orange. She was so in this time. I need a moment."
Oh, and I'm like sort of patting her hair and like trying to not be knocked over by her weight, because again, I am very small.
Right. She's like thrown her whole body into you, right?
Yeah.
And Carmela like scoops her. Oh, please, call someone over. Like another waiter comes over and like takes her away to a nearby fainting couch. And Carmela
Specifically for fainting.
Exactly, right. Carmela stands there with her hands folded, and she says, "Yes, it's a wonderful time for all of us, but I just can't get it out of my head that I feel like somebody knows something, that it wasn't just a heart attack. Rosa was in the peak of health. We used to go jogging together. We would go riding on the beach. The stables were always happy to have her. I just don't understand how someone like that could die so suddenly. Andrea, you kind of know these things, don't?
Knowing these things is not my business anymore, but he was one of the strongest people I knew. It took me as much a surprise for anyone else. I'd barely made it back to the hotel and it happened all of a sudden. It was very, very fast, way too soon on my arrival. I did not get enough time with her, almost as if everything was coming together. The universe plays jokes like that sometimes, or people.
Yeah, it does. It does. And forgive me, Anna, weren't you the last person to see Rosa before she died? Do you remember? Did she say anything? Did she seem off?
Well, she seemed a little out of breath than usual. I mean, I thought she was coming down with some sort of I don't know, flu or cough or like something. She said she was very winded after her regular morning jog, but uh, we spoke about, I guess, the day-to-day business and about the wedding and how she was so looking forward to this wedding, and um, and uh, taking her beloved child down the aisle, and being a part of this wedding. And it was just so sad when I heard. I mean, I barely had time to call the ambulance before she perished.
She's like nods, and her arms are very still folded, and she takes one step forward in her very severe pump heels, and gets real close to Anna, and she says, "Cut the crap. you and I both know that ever since I started dating Maria, you've had something against me. And I don't know if it's just because you see me as like a professional threat or something like that, or if you think that I have claim to this hotel, but our day, our love is not going to be sullied by whatever beef you have with me or with anyone else. If you have something to say to me, why don't you do it?
And initially, Anna sort of takes a step back to sort of be like, "Whoa, there," and says, "Well, all I have for you is happiness, as it would be unprofessional of me to sully such a wonderful occasion for this hotel." But there's like literal, like my eyes are like very shiny with like anger, but sort of having the tone of like professional, of like, in public I am not going to
Mm-hmm.
question. And then I turn around and I say to Andrea, I do have a word. I would like to have a word with you for a moment. If you'll excuse me, I will be right back.
And I sort of bustle over and start talking to her again as the camera pans off with them.
Right. So Carmela is like, "Oh, okay, fine. Like, give me the list." She snatches out the paper, and then we get a scene of them like going through the things, and Evita like maybe like like falling apart a little bit. So let's
And
do
as I think Andrea just like shoulder bumps Elena and goes, "We've come a long way since when you were decorating cupcakes, hey?" And then we'll make a dramatic bow to the rest of the crowd and go, "If you excuse me, I believe that's my curtain call." And we'll follow off after Anna.
fabulous. All right, so we're gonna the camera like pans over to the ocean for a second. We see the surf, and we crossfade into a shot with Ina. So where is Ina right now, and what is she doing? And also like, so she's an identical twin.
Yep.
To Anna, right? So she's played by
Yes.
the same actress.
Yep.
So what
You
what
never
did
see them in the
makeup-
same frame. They're always in a different crosscut with each other.
Exactly.
Especially with the over shoulder, there's like a doppelganger to shoot the scene.
There's like one stand-in who has like the hair from the back, but you never see their faces in the same shot.
So what did makeup do to like differentiate the two of you? Is there like a star or?
Yeah, so I think so Ina's wearing something very similar to what Anna is wearing, but it's like a shade lighter because she's not mourning anything. She's reveling in the chance to maybe tip something about her, like maybe tip her sister's plans a little bit into the gutter. But I think other than sort of the dress is relatively the same.
Mhm.
But sort of tucked under her hair is like a single earring hidden under her hair, so that so when you get the cuts for when you figure out whether or not it's her, you can always look for a little bit of a flicker underneath her hair, and maybe that's Ina, maybe it's not. Who knows?
Mhm.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So where is Ina, and what is she doing?
So is there a place where Ina could have been sort of watching this sort of gathering in sort of this planning gathering, and then seeing Anna and Andrea kind of walk off?
Oh yeah. So we've been in the ballroom.
Yep.
Obviously there's a balcony in the
Yeah.
ballroom that you have to look in. So if you go in one of the lobby, you go through all these labyrinthine corridors, you come out to the ballroom. There's a stand up there that kind of juts out a little bit. So it's layered, right? There's a balcony in the ballroom, and then there's a balcony over the ocean in the ballroom. So we're tiering
Gotcha.
it. So yeah, the camera pans over to the ocean and then swings back around, and we see the ballroom from the other end, and we gently pan up, and there's a figure. We get a close-up shot of Ina, who's listening in on the conversation the whole time.
I've decided that Ina just has a fan now. That's just like a thing I've decided now. But I think she's sort of very slowly sort of fanning herself, looking just far enough out off the balcony where no one could really look up and see her accidentally, but sort of looking through maybe like the railing of just to kind of like get the glimpses of who's moving around. And when Anna and Andrea sort of walk off, sort of leans over and then struts off camera, and then I think will reappear at some point on the ground floor downstairs to talk to Evita, I think.
Okay.
Behind.
Nice.
So we get that moment. Okay, so
Yeah.
you come down the stairs. Evita is coming into maybe the hotel lobby.
Mhm.
So the lobby is this big space. I think there's obviously a water feature in the middle, like a big fountain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Couches around it. Huge chandelier, this massive golden and diamond chandelier hanging off of the ceiling over the water feature. And a lot of like everything is reflective, right? As you walk through, the marble is so immaculately polished that it's like a mirror as you walk
Yeah.
around these columns. There's mirrors everywhere, so that people can see themselves and perhaps secrets they were not meant to. So coming down one of the hallways, I think Evita is like carrying the wine list or something, and bumps into Ina, who intentionally is coming down the stairs at exactly the right time.
Yep.
Right. Oh, that's so perfect. And I imagine that I think you're Anna, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Just checking. So I bump into you, and after I recover from being a little startled,
Mhm.
I say, "Oh, excellent. I wanted to speak with you," and I sort of gesture over to like a side room where we can go speak privately.
Yeah, and Ina sort of like I think sort of takes you not doesn't take you by the arm, so puts a hand on your back, sort of shepherds you into the other room.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like, I understand. It's high pressure day, I understand, but you did well out there.
Oh, thank you.
You did great.
Oh, well, and she like blushes a little bit and turns her head down, and she says, "But I was concerned about what Carmelo mentioned. I mean, you and I were together that morning, so it doesn't quite make sense that you would have been there at the time of Rosa's death. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't misremembering."
I think Ina has that sort of like that soap opera face of, oh, just like, what? Like clearly did not know that, but has now learned this, and it's just like, oh, right, yes. I mean, I assume it's been hard for them. Coming into her family and looking forward to sort of coming together, and having that sort of torn from you in the last minutes. I feel that would be a strain on anyone, and I think if she is implying something more of some sort of ill repute, I think the truth will come out in time, and I don't think I have anything to worry about.
Okay. As long as we don't have anything to worry about, that's fine.
I mean, you don't have anything to worry about at all. But tell me, what did you want to speak about? Was it just that concern, or?
Well, now that my concerns have been laid to rest, it is nice to see you again, and I sort of like step up a little closer to you, shyly.
Yeah. And I think, and Ina sort of doesn't like sort of matches you, but like not matches you back, but matches you forward. So you sort of meet a little bit faster, maybe. Because I've got to move and I'm gonna use it. So yeah. So you sort of already finished the other one, but so when I coyly attempt to learn something about somebody while I'm pretending to be Anna, I can do some things. I took Story Spinner. That's my other move. So I didn't see stats on this playbook, so I was a little.
Yeah, so you don't have stats.
D6, cool.
Yeah, for the benefit of the audience, so Pasion de las Pasiones, unlike other PBTA games that you may be familiar with, like Apocalypse World or Dungeon World, doesn't use stats. It asks you to roll with questions. So for Story Spinner, when you are coyly attempting to learn about someone while you're pretending to be your twin, we ask the questions: do they love your twin, and is there an ample distraction? For each thing that is true, you'll get +1 to your 2d6 dice roll. So does Andrea love Anna? Or sorry, does Evita love Anna?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's +1. And is there an ample distraction? as you're like trying to do this? I don't think so.
Can I be very distracting in a forward kind of manner?
I think if you get like in Evita's face.
No,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was absolutely like step up power move kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, smell my
Mhm.
perfume, right?
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Not the only
All right.
thing we're going to be laying to rest today.
Yep. So hit me with
Yes.
2d6 and add 2 to your
Excellent.
result.
So 2d6 plus 2 should work. Nope, that didn't work. I have to put a slash in the middle there. 'Cause I know how to use Roll20.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Fan-freaking-tastic. All right, so that's an 11. So if
Okay.
you have not played one of these games before, generally speaking, a 6 and below is a miss, right? You wanted to do something and bad things will happen as a result. You may get what you want, it just may not be how you want to get it. A 7 and 9 is like a mixed success or a soft hit, and a 10 plus is a strong hit. We've got an 11, which is a very strong hit. So
Yes.
on a 10 plus, you get
Perfect.
3 hold, which you can spend, 1 hold, to ask any question on the list. When did you and my twin sleep together? How do you feel about my twin? What do you owe my twin? And how could I make you angry at my twin? So you don't have to spend them all right away. You can do that one at a time in the course of this scene.
Okay. I'm going to start with the first question about
Okay.
sort of when did you and my twin sleep together, but framed in the kind of like tell me what you're looking forward to out of what we did last, like whenever that night was kind of question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Do you remember
some-
the last time we were
Yeah.
together?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I say, well, of course, how could I forget? This was our first time being so bold out in the hotel lobby in the dead of night.
Woo!
Okay.
Whew.
I
getting
still
all
remember
steamy.
the way that your face looked reflected in the water sheeting down from the fountain. Oh, mi amor.
Okay. Great.
And it was exactly 4 days ago. I will never forget. It was Friday the 13th.
Yes, very, very
Beautiful.
auspicious day to be sure. And I think at this point, it has taken to like, if you've, I'm referencing like Hajar al-Mastani right now, but like is circling Evita at this point. Like so, the reflections
Yeah.
are bouncing around the room at this
That's
point.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
she's sort of,
room
like,
that you've
lost her
chosen-
memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the room that you've chosen is like it's all crushed seafoam velvet couches and everything, but for some reason there are mirrors on every single wall, like big wide
No
ones.
reason
So
whatsoever.
as you're walking, we see like that infinity spiral of like dozens of Inas like slowly
Yeah.
walking around, just one Evita in the center of the shot.
It's so hard to keep the
Like
camera
where all
crew
the
out
money
of the
went
shots.
in this one episode.
The
next to
entire
the
camera crew
wedding.
was scuttling around behind the camera, like just trying to get out of the way.
Make sure there's no stray tripod in the shot.
It probably is at some point.
There's absolutely straight problem, but nobody bothered to remove. They were like, no one will notice. Move on.
Well, it's
We're over
like set
budget.
up,
Let's go.
it's like set up for the wedding. There's totally tripods for the photographer.
Oh yeah, it's all assumed.
Yeah. I think that's what happens. Is that like at one point, Ina comes across this tripod someone has left in the scene and just sort of runs a hand over it like it was intentionally placed there for no reason.
Yeah,
Just to really sell it. Yes.
Just
I
to
love
be
it.
like, oh no, I've noticed this is here. Hold on, acting time.
Fabulous.
So this story is not just about what happens in the story; it's about the making of.
We're
Too.
telling the meta production. That's great.
So Evita is just like blushing very deeply, and she says, "So what do you have planned for our next meeting, if I might be so bold to ask?"
And Ina stops, sort of, kind of artfully facing away as if in thought, and then sort of very coyly looks over her shoulder and says, well, we have all of these things for a wedding. I don't think no one will notice, considering I'm running parts of it, if some things were to vanish off of the list what was supposed to make it outside.
Oh my, some things. I see.
Some things, yes. Who knows?
You do know how to inflame my imagination.
I do my best. I find that things are more fun when you are anticipating.
I love anticipating things about things.
And I'm gonna spin another hold. I think Ina wants to know how much, or how they could get you angry at Anna, because that just causes a wrench in everything.
Yeah, that seems great. I think that I'm. You can tell that I've been swept up in this fantasy of the extremely vague things that are going to happen, and I get kind of a little bit of a bratty look on my face, and I say, well, now that I'm looking forward to it, I'll be very disappointed if things don't happen.
Perfect. And he goes, yes, and then I think I'll try to steal some time away from inserts time that Anna is going to be ridiculously busy, doing 17 other things. I think, is this episode playing the wedding? I don't know. Is that how that works? Excellent. So I think it's right at the time when the kitchen is going to be the absolute busiest.
Oh,
it's
perfect.
right. It's right. I'll steal some time away. I'm pretty sure they can handle it without me. And absolutely, Anna would absolutely be must make sure everything is right. And then and as sets it right at the time where everyone is sat down and is getting ready for dinner to come out.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
how
think also
brazen.
God, that makes it such a big dramatic gesture that you're promising the most important time to Evita.
Yeah.
we get a as you're making these plans, we do a quick jump cut over to the kitchens, and so there's the one of the head chefs is all right, everyone, I need you to be at your position at precisely this time, 6 o'clock, and we will begin with the appetizers. And of course the wine course, that will be handled by Evita. She's always fantastic. I trust her to be here and on time, and fabulous.
So Evita's also not going to be there?
Yes. That's so good.
So good.
I think I realized
show up. Anna will have our heads, and the head chef's no, she'll be here. Fine.
Yeah. I think Ina has realized the way to get Anna to have an unfortunate time is to try and sabotage the wedding to get them to take over the thing before Anna's ready to take over the hotel. That's where I think Ina's at. That is what I, the player, am gunning for.
Perfect.
Nice.
You have one last hold, am I correct?
I do, yes. I need to...
Maybe while you're thinking, as we're panned over to the kitchen, we can see that there's a bunch of a tray with a bunch of different wines on it, but all of them have the labels taken off, and it says mystery wine selection.
Yep.
That's so good.
Ooh, what do you owe my twin? I think that's what we'll go with. I love the last one.
What do I owe her? Interesting. Definitely owe her my job. We already know that. So I think I say.
Oh yes.
Do you have a thought?
I have a thought because I think that's enough for Ina. So I think because what I think Ina will do is say, I know that it's going to be a difficult time, but I know it's a very special day for, the brides, but I want it to be a very special day for us, and so I want to thank you for the time you've put into helping organize this. I want to give you the time during this bit. You won't have to be responsible for everything. The kitchen will handle it, and I want you to go and be waiting for me, if you can.
Of course, I would be happy to. Yeah, it'll work out. Of course, this is what matters.
Yes. Leave the logistics to me. I've got.
Excellent. You are such a deft hand with logistics.
And I think that's the moment where Ina sort of once again has circled around back to this dumb tripod and sort of just does like a quite little finger wrap on it and then leaves.
Yes.
The door closes and Evita's there, like breathless, in the room, surrounded by her own myriad reflections. And then we cut to Anna and Andrea. So where did you end up? Where are you having your little secret?
Yeah, where did you take us, Anna?
I think I took both of us to sort of like overlooking a balcony, like a really good view where you can hear the sound of the ocean, which sort of covers up some sort of like overhearing. Like this is supposed to be somewhat private, but also we're talking normally in public, sort of a situation. And I say, Andrea, what a lovely surprise to see you here. I was not expecting you to come back so soon.
So, for the benefit of the audience, there's a series of reactions on Andrea's face. I think Andrea has one of those, like, my face is stoic, but I give away tells to the audience that people who have watched some of the episodes know.
Absolutely.
So, it's like, I twitch up of surprise that's very brief into just, like, the calm composure and, like, then I narrow as they calculate like what the best response is, and they go, well, I guess I'm a person who's prone to surprises. What can I say?
Well, I didn't think you would come back after that incident. And the incident is probably some really shady thing I had asked you to do like early in the season.
Well, I couldn't miss an event with so many people I haven't seen forever. You know that Elaine and I go back a bit, and there are still things I need to deal with before I can move on.
I see. Well, I should tell you, as a good friend and someone who has seen you at their best and at their worst, that Elena might be a better fit for you than Evita. I don't think Evita is capable of understanding every part of you like I do.
Let's see. So I think just pause and go. You haven't changed one bit. Always trying to push people the way, as if we're little pawns on your chessboard. You've never worked on me, you know? The other you is exactly the same, and I could always see for the both of you. Be careful who you try to push. Like you said, you know me better than anyone else. You know what happens if I get pushed too far. You know how hard I can push back.
And you know what I'm capable of doing if you get between me and my, is it mi amor?
Yes.
Is the correct word? Yes, my mi amor.
I feel like one of you made a move in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we think Andrea was demanding what they deserve? As in, I'm my own autonomous person.
I think I can
striking out at someone with words. It feels like a
yeah.
threat.
I think strike out might be the closest.
Okay.
Well, I think I'm trying to think. So, what was the last thing you just said?
Strike out at someone with voice.
No. What was the last thing Anna just said?
I had said that. Well, there were two things. I said that that I know you better than.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's mature enough for you. Sort of a thing. And two.
Okay.
If you push back, I'm also capable of doing anything.
Yeah. So I think I know how to build a strikeout. So I'm gonna lean over and go. If assuming what you're saying is completely of good intention and with my best will and heart, then I can tell you that if he really isn't mature enough for me, she is almost certainly not mature enough for your scheming, lying ass.
Literally, I make this like sort of like a gasp.
The audience is like recoiling, like, oh,
Yeah.
that feels like striking out at someone.
Yeah, that's
Have you caught them off guard?
Yes.
Yes. And have they just wronged you?
I think so. They tried to get into the way of doing my business.
Yeah, you're in your right. All right, so go ahead and roll and add 2.
14. That's a 12
Beautiful.
on the dice.
So on a hit, your strike lands and you each mark a condition. On a 10 plus, you may also take something from them or avoid marking a condition.
I think I avoid marking condition. I think I'm just keeping my like perfect composure as I'm doing this.
That makes perfect sense.
And I think the way that I do it is like I lean over the table and I'm saying this, but quietly enough that no one else overhears this. So it's just Anna.
Perfect.
So I
yeah,
have
go
to
ahead and
mark a condition?
Yep. I don't care about which one you mark right now. It's your choice. For the viewers
Okay.
at home, if you're not familiar with the game, this game does not track stress. It does not track hit points. It tracks conditions, which are emotional states. Not every class or playbook has the same ones. So, for example, if you were the La Doña, she can mark zealous, obsessed, introspective, or preoccupied, whatever makes the most sense. I may sometimes call for condition depending on the story. But what these mean is you get +1 to do a certain move because of your emotional state, and -2 to do a different move. If you ever mark all of 4 of your conditions and you have to mark another one, you have a meltdown, which means that something extreme happens. Your character has been driven to an emotional breaking point, and you clear all your conditions at the end of a scene in which you act in a certain way based on your playbook. So you've got 1 right now.
I will mark zealous for the time being because I think that suits it. And I'm sort of gasping, but also there's this look in my eye that I'm very tempted right now to throw you off that balcony.
Yeah.
But we're
And
still
I
in
think-
public. But we're
I
still
think
in public.
I think I catch it and I give you a look that like, you know who's stronger. You don't get your hands dirty, I do. And with that look, I just go, now if you excuse me, I have a meeting with the better you. And I turn around and
And
walk away.
there's a look of surprise in my face, like, wait, what?
So we see Andrea stride out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I storm off to the kitchens in search of Evita.
Okay. Another fun thing to remind everyone of. So there's two moves that you can always do, which are flashing back to preparations that you've made prior to establish things about the scene or the fiction. Another is to reveal a shocking truth about another PC. Oh, then that's because you're my twin brother. But another move, in case you're ever stuck, is the process your feelings out loud move. So whenever you have like a soliloquy, like, I don't know what to do. I love Maria, but I love Carmela, but I swore that I would only do this thing for this person. When you're having that moment, you can ask the audience if they are rooting for your character, and if they are, you get bonuses to your roll. But the audience will then give you dramatic setups and tell you things like, the audience will tell you a crucial event that's going on outside of you, or how you might find love with a partner of the audience's choosing, or how you could get blank to do blank. So if you're ever like stuck, just have a monologue. Okay, so Andrea storms off. Anna's like stunned in silence and then storms off. Where do we think we go next? I feel like we've seen everyone kind of set up their little schemes for this episode, but we don't have like a strong, like we're not guiding quite to
I have
big drama yet.
I have a kind of dramatic one
Okay,
that I'm building up to.
shoot.
So I mean I think when Andrea and Ina were younger and used to hang out, they used to have like a tea by the pool at the same time every afternoon. So I think Andrea goes there and like sets it up, waiting for Ina to show up.
Fabulous. So you're by the pool.
Yeah, I'm like lying down on like a long, like a reclining chair. There's a table set up between me and another reclining chair. It's got a very fancy tea set up there.
Okay.
And yeah, does Ina show up on time, late, early?
What do we think?
You're currently muted.
That's your cue,
I'm sorry, I thought you said Nina, and I was paying less attention to that entire sentence than I should have. Continue. Sorry, what happened?
You're having a
So,
meeting with Andrea.
I established that like when we were younger and we were friends,
Mhm.
we would meet up at the pool for tea at like every afternoon at a certain time, and
Okay.
I've set that up again now that I know you're the one who called me here.
Gotcha.
And I'm wondering, like, are you showing up on time, late?
I think it is. It's not. It isn't quite fashionably late. It's a little too early to be fashionable, but I think it's the making sure nobody saw me and or my sister in the same place at the same time while crossing the hotel kind of late.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're at this particular table. It's a little bit further away from everything. We can still see the ocean, but there's the pool that's nearby. There's beautiful people reclining, sunbathing, big bright aqua umbrellas over all of the tables, polished silver for all the handles of things. If we were there, we would smell the chlorine of the pool, and we would smell the bright, almost like pungent, like saccharin smell of like pina coladas and drinks being passed around. So Andrea's already there, and Ina like comes in kind of from around the corner.
Yeah, I think sort of. I've decided that like sort of this sort of handout kind of passy thing is a thing that Ina just does in every scene now, and so sort of like reaches over and casually swipes a pina colada from like somebody else's table.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think
So
it's left behind.
that person is in the pool and is not paying attention to their drink. It is therefore mine. Yeah, and sort of walks over, and then sort of it gets to the point where they're like almost at Andrea, and maybe they're being rude. Then they reach over and snag somebody else's pina colada, come over and give it to them.
And
Perfect.
Andrea looks at it with like a side glance and goes, "Come now, you know we always drink tea here."
I'm sorry, this was a bit of a special day. I thought you might want to change things up a little bit.
Well, I'm a person of habit. So, I just have a quick question for you. When did you graduate to murder?
Quick question.
As you get that look, oh come now, I know you killed Rosa.
All right, so shocking truth time. I think is what I just heard. Excellent.
The question is, do you want like the option is either shocking truth or if you're gonna deny it, like accuse you of lying.
Gotcha. Ooh.
Balls in your court.
So
They're
I
both
am
great.
I am absolutely down for reveal a shocking truth. That
Okay.
like I was working towards that anyway, so this is great. This is good
Cool.
timing.
So I'll mark a condition and I roll with my conditions mark. On a hit, the news is staggering. On a 7 to 9, I choose 1. 10 plus, I choose 2. Okay. So
It's 2d6 plus 1.
6 plus 1. Oh, oops. I tried to type it in Twitch chat, not Roll20.
That's a mood.
The next step for Roll20 obviously is Twitch integration.
Seriously.
All right, that's an 8. So,
Okay.
Okay.
on a hit, the news is staggering, and if you try to act against me, you must act with desperation. On a 7 to 9, I will choose 1. I think I have unequivocal evidence that this is true.
Okay.
Okay.
What is the
so-
unequivocal evidence?
Yeah, I think so. It'll come out in a
It'll come out in a little bit. I think
I
so.
think, like, as you say that,
Mhm.
I mean, it all makes sense. Ano is trying to take over the hotel and was supposed to do so from Rosa. But she needed a bit more time. Doing this means her timetable gets all messed up. It puts a new player with a lot more power. It's everything you've always wanted. And now bringing me here to make sure she can't mess up the wedding.
And Ina does that sort of like very personal kind of look away.
Oh, come now, I have the letter. I have also letters from Anna, and on a closer look, I can see the handwriting difference. Not to mention, I have the fact that you signed the bill that got the electrician fired the day before Rose's passing.
I think so. Ina is still sort of looking away, and then sort of reaches forward to put a hand on the table, like very quickly, but like misjudges because she wasn't anticipating that particular crux in the narrative, and so like knocks one of the pina coladas to the poolside, and glass shatters everywhere. People are like, "Oh my god, there's glass in the pool!" And when people are sort of looking at her, you just sort of steps like, "Clean it up!" And then like people are scrambling to do that, leans in now in this commotion that they've sort of made, and says, "And if you knew that, why did you come back?"
Well, I mean, I only figured it out all of about 10 minutes ago, but I do know it now. You wrote a very convincing letter on first glance, and I don't tend to read things multiple times anymore. I thought I'd put all that deceit behind me, but then I remembered you're still in my life.
To be honest, I meant most of that letter.
Yes, I assumed as much.
What is it you want me to say?
I honestly was hoping for anything. Some explanation of how it got this bad. I mean, I always knew you had it out for Anna, but to murder someone completely unrelated? That's... You're acting more like her than like yourself.
Completely unrelated. The time I have spent setting up Anna's failure is inconceivably long. She's had her eye on this hotel for so long, and Rosa was just willing to give it to her. No. Was not going to let that stand.
I'm not going to ruin the wedding. They deserve a happy day, but as soon as it's over, this evidence all gets delivered. They need to know the truth.
I think that would ruin you think that might ruin the wedding?
I think finding out that their mother was murdered the day of their wedding would be quite upsetting news.
Ooh, I want to do a thing.
Do the thing.
Do
I
it.
need to
Do it.
Okay. Can I do a flashback to preparation?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. And this is a really long con, I think, for Ina at this point. And I think she absolutely did have someone looking out for trouble, if that's a thing that I can say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are we flashing back to the preparation that you made?
Okay. So I get to, even if I miss, I get to do it, but somebody gets to see it.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've realized that I've forgotten a key mechanic, which is that each of you also gets your own playbook question.
Right.
Which I totally slipped my mind. But
Okay.
yeah, so in this case, are you taking advantage of your twin's reputation to do this? As in, like, were you impersonating Anna to do whatever you're doing?
I don't. Not on this one, I don't think.
Okay. So you'll just roll with 2 then.
Yeah. I think this is very much an Ina thing. Let's try this again. Okay.
All right.
So I get to pick one.
Yeah. You choose one of the options from the list,
Okay.
and you either mark a condition or I will give you a worse outcome or hard bargain.
Okay. And I'm not quite sure how it works for this one. Is it you'll give me that and I can choose between the bargain and the condition, or is it choose and then you'll give me? I just want to make sure I have one. Right?
Oh yeah, so you choose one of the things,
Okay.
and then either mark a condition, or I will give you a worse outcome
Gotcha.
in addition to the thing.
Let's do. Let's mark a condition. Let's take some righteous.
Yeah.
I think
All right.
that's reasonable.
And what are your options are: you have fabricated a piece of evidence, tell us what it is; you arranged for somebody to be in the right place at the right time; or you stowed away something hidden.
Can I change an NPC with you arrange for somebody to be in the right place at the right time? Can
Yes.
I alter the back? Excellent. And so that's what I'll say is, I think regardless if you expose me, it's going to ruin that wedding entirely, because I think it would break the poor bride's heart to know that her beloved was in bed.
Yes, I agree. That's why I said after the wedding.
I know, but I don't think it's going to matter at that point.
How do you mean?
You see, well, that's going to be a very short marriage. If
Why
that's the
would it be
case.
that?
Because if you're going to expose me, well, then you're going to have to understand that, well, Camilla knows. Who do you think put them together in the first place?
You realize that if the marriage goes south, your sister wins.
Oh, exactly. I'm aware. But I don't think you're going to come here with Elena and ruin a wedding for everyone. After all, you left your troubleshooting behind. And
I did.
ooh, do I get a +1 to demand, right? I think.
Yeah, but you have to act with desperation before you do anything against me.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like maybe telling you my entire plan is my desperation.
Yeah, so you have to roll that.
Yeah.
Cool. How do I? I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So yeah. So what situation you're trying to avoid?
Let me check out.
A situation.
Yes.
And are you doing it for love?
Probably not. Oh, actually.
I mean, the next question is, are you doing it for vengeance? And
I mean,
you
so
Oh,
I
yeah,
think.
I guess.
So, how twisted can I be in answering these questions? Because I
That's
think.
straightforward enough. Yeah.
All right, so I think Ina is absolutely doing this for vengeance, right?
Yes.
But I think Ina also for Ina, like Maria and Cabela would love to be together, and if they're together and they love each other, beautiful. As long as my sister isn't in the picture. And so I think she wants them to. She's doing it for love, because the two of them loving each other makes it easier to boot Anna out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I think it's one, because yes, they're in love and it's adorable, but it also makes me do a lot of really great things, and also Anna.
Yeah.
Fuck
So
you,
maybe you
Anna.
do believe in young lovers, but also
Yeah,
it's to get back at your twin. I'd say take the two.
Yeah.
Take the plus.
Ina
and you're- are you-
believes in young love and taking advantage of young love.
Mhm.
Things
Um,
can do two things.
Yeah.
And were you taking advantage of Anna's reputation when you did this?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So
think
you're
it was-
impersonating Anna when you introduced them.
Yes.
Yes. So the
Abs-
flashback is like a scene of Anna walking up and Maria, have you met Carmela? I must.
Yeah.
And as the camera swings out,
Swings away.
we get the little bit of the earring underneath that tells us that it's Ina.
Yep.
And then we jump back now. So you're rolling with +3. 2d3.
Ooh, +3. Awesome. Woo-hoo!
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Woo, baby. So you managed to hold it together. Yeah,
Yes.
you're good. You've planned for this, the long
Yeah.
con.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So.
I,
Yeah.
I think
Go
the
for
answer, the last thing you said was but you left the scheming and stuff behind. You said, you're right, I have left this all behind me. Which is why, honestly, whatever schemes you've set up, whatever mess web you've created that reminds me more and more of your sister with every passing moment, I will reveal the truth, because that's what I do now. It doesn't matter what the consequences are. The truth needs to be known. Are you going to try to stop me?
And Ina says, Andrea, I like you. Maybe a little less in this moment, but at the very least, I respect you. And I appreciate what you've tried to do with your life. But, as you say, you are out. This isn't your fight anymore, if you want to wax poetic. So stay out, or I'll make sure everything you left behind comes running back to meet you.
If you wanted me out, you shouldn't have sent me the letter. You brought me here.
I thought you would have liked to enjoy a nice wedding. I think we all do. And I think at that, Ina sort of gets up, slams the entire pina colada that was left, like clunks it on the table, and stalks off.
Alma La Casa, the head maitre d' of the hotel, comes through like, oh, I heard there was a situation. You forgot your drink. Is she okay? And she looks down at Andrea.
That remains to be seen.
Well, I'd better get this cleaned up. She brings out a broom and a mop, and she starts sweeping up the glass. We are about to cut to break, but as a fan of the characters, I have to ask, was Evita listening to that whole conversation?
I don't know. Oh, it's so complicated. I think no.
Okay.
I think it'll be more fun to be in the dark. I was like halfway through, I was like, I'm there, and then oh god, this is too complicated. I can't be there. I won't be able to keep it all straight.
I also feel like, especially if I do find Evita, that we're having our own conversation while
Right
this
now.
is going on.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right. So then the last thing that we see before we cut to the break will be Alma La Casa brushing the glass into the pan, into the dustpan, and in the reflection of all of the shattered pieces of glass is Andrea's face as they ponder the whole situation that they've just come through. We're going to cut to a break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. We're going to do some shout outs to some of our fabulous Patreon sponsors. But also, while you're going to do that, go ahead and get a drink, get a snack, and why not go over to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Sign up for a free account today. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop, including us, to power their favorite games. And with modules galore on the marketplace, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. We'll be right back.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to Rue, some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Hey everyone, it's your favorite producer, Leona. While we're on break, we just want to give a quick shout out to our hosts with the most Patreon sponsors, Jaxie, Donald G, Nerdy, and Michelle. Thank you so much for being in the host with the most tier, and thank you for supporting our Patreon. We will be back very soon. I hope everyone is enjoying the game so far.
Are you going to count me in or are we live? Okay, great. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a great break. I hope you got a chance to stretch your legs, get a little bit of water, hydration, and got a moment to catch your breath from all of the drama that is happening in this game. It is really popping off here. We're coming into the heart of the game. So as we approach the end, terminal velocity, we will see how many hearts we can break and how good we can look doing it. So let us get our little scene change going and bring us back into the game. Why did that do that? Yes, no, hello, roll 20. Roll 20. Anyway, while I figure out roll 20, let's cut back to a scene where we have a meeting between Anna and Evita. So before we went to break, we had a harsh argument between Ina and Andrea about the true nature of Rosa's mysterious death, the previous owner of the hotel. And now we're going to find out some more details. So Anna and Evita, where are we?
I think I would try to find you at the kitchens and drag you to the cellar as my background.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
So I would just come into the kitchen, see you there, and almost like sort of like a stern employer, sort of be like, Evita, we have a problem in the cellars. Come with me right now.
And I say, of course. And I, very like almost in sort of a chastened way, head after you.
And with your permission, as we head down, like as soon as nobody's there and we're like in a darkened sort of corner, I sort of grab you and like kiss you.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And I say, oh, I've been waiting all day to do this. I miss you so much.
I say, yeah, that makes sense.
Are you expressing your love for Evita passionately?
Yes.
All right. So the questions are you dressed to impress?
Yeah, what's your outfit?
Well, it's still the same, like, dressed.
One.
It's the same one, but is it impressing to you? Do you kind of like that dynamic of, like,
Oh, man. It's a little morbid.
No, the dynamic of, like, employer-employee kind of like, oh, you like someone a little more aggressive.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that definitely does it for her.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, then yes.
Do they believe that you are single?
Yes, as far as I know.
Yeah, okay, so that's 2. And your playbook question is, are you keeping your hands clean?
Yeah, mostly. So far they're clean. I didn't kill La Rosa, but it worked in my favor.
Yeah, you're like,
I'm an opportunist.
All day, right? So go ahead and roll and add 3.
So I'm rolling my physical dice, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So that would be 7 plus 3, 10.
10. Okay, so on a hit, your target gives themselves to you or reveals a secret they probably shouldn't. On a 10 plus, they also tell you whether they love you or not and who else they love.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
so
my
what was your
goodness.
total?
10.
10.
Okay, all right. I have a lot of work to do. So which choice do you want to pick?
It's
You choose.
I choose?
The target either gives themselves to you or reveals a secret they shouldn't.
The target.
So it's up to
your
you.
choice.
I'll say I give myself to you. I think that makes sense in the circumstances.
So we're here in the wine cellar and things get very steamy as we get a close-up of the embrace between the two of you.
Yeah.
And then I sort of break off and I'm like breathing very, very heavily and, very, very flushed. Her hair is even messier now, obviously. So like a strand of it is going down in front of her face and she sort of tucks it back. Or you took it back for me, actually.
Oh, yeah. I just stuck it back like a sort of tender embrace sort of
Yeah,
thing.
that's good. And you can see that she sort of like closes her eyes. She like feels your touch going along her scalp and is very into it. And then what's the thing that I reveal?
You also have to say who else you love.
Oh man, okay. And if I love her.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think I say, oh, Anna, I love the way you make me feel. When you just do things to me that no one else can. And I really can't wait for the things that will happen in the future.
Oh, I mean, I was planning to make it a surprise for you, but I suppose.
Oh no, please keep it vague, just like this. This is perfect. Oh, I can feel the anticipation.
And I hand you a key, like a key card.
Oh, interesting. And I take it and I'm sort of like, what? But I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. No,
For later.
yeah,
and I say for later, which literally for you means the set time Ina gave you. But for me, I meant like after the wedding's over.
And I think I sort of like lean forward a little bit so that you can like put it into my breast pocket.
Yep,
Ooh.
and I just put it in.
Nice. And I give it a little pat and say, I'll keep that safe. But I have to tell you who else I love. That's so tough.
It can come up in the course of this conversation too.
Yeah. And how do I bring that up? Let's see. Because I think it's you're my love, who I have like your checkbox next to you right now,
Yeah.
and Andrea is my other suitor, who is not currently technically my love. So I think oh yeah, so we just shared intimacy, which means that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You shared your feelings with me. So that means
Yeah.
I swap who my love is, and because you triggered the intimacy, you clear a condition. That's my
I clear
suitor.
a condition?
Yeah. It feels so great that you feel better now about your problems.
Yeah, you know, the Andrea, I'm trying to one-up Andrea, basically.
So what do I say that gives away the fact that I am currently now thinking about Andrea in your arms? Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
I say, I know I'm the only one who can give you what you need.
Yeah, yeet, that's the tweet.
Uh-huh. So I say, of course, and then I dramatically break away from you and turn away. And I say, but is the heart needs really what the heart wants?
Well, I know what you need, and I know what you want. I'm pretty sure they cannot give you both.
But having both is... It's nice. I admit it. Am I terrible? I am. And I think I'm going to use my Confession move
Ooh.
and tell you of my wrongdoings.
Ooh.
That sounds fun. So I say, it's true that I have... Even today, Andrea and I were holding hands.
Oh, my dear child. If only you knew. If only you knew what a rogue they are.
If I knew the things that those hands had done, you mean?
Well, yes, that. But also that they were responsible for the incident.
So while we're doing this, I need you to roll for Confession.
Yes.
Do you view the other as pure of heart?
Obviously, yes.
Okay. So take +1.
Yeah.
You didn't invoke religion or family
No.
in that one. That's fine. And are you in over your head?
I mean...
I feel like yes.
Yeah!
So get and
Okay.
roll and add 2.
42. Oh boy, I rolled a 3 and a 2, so I got a 7.
Okay.
Just skating by.
So you will technically clear a condition because you feel your soul is lightened by being honest. But the other person also gains direct evidence of your wrongdoings or clears a condition themselves, their choice.
I already just cleared a condition, so
Yeah. So
Being
you
around me
get
is amazing.
direct evidence of this side relationship that's going on.
perhaps camera footage.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah. So I say, we were holding hands even in the hallway as we walked up to the ballroom. So now you know exactly it's camera 42.
Right.
Yeah.
You could go back and run back the tape. There is a move if you want to do that.
Yeah.
You'll need to, if you want to do that, you'll have to go back to the security room in the hotel. When you check the security tapes to find who was at a location at a certain time. So you can do that after this scene then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be doing.
Fabulous.
To make sure it was just holding hands and not anymore.
Of course, yes. And I look really downcast. But you can do whatever you feel is just.
Well, perhaps you'll find out this evening.
Okay. Interesting.
And I'm still alluding to we're meeting up.
And so a little look of hope sort of blossoms on her face, and she says, "You mean I should still look forward to a surprise?"
Of course. And there'll be something nice for you to wear.
Oh my. Well. And I like sort of go skipping off. Yeah, I'm super happy now.
And I head to the security office.
Okay. So we'll do that momentarily. Let's get a scene with either Ina, Andrea, or both, maybe?
Do you have a scene? We just had a scene together. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
we just a split maybe.
I
Oh,
could have a scene, but if you've got one, take it.
We could also just go right to the security camera.
so Ina was going to go to the security cameras too.
So let's, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
So we get a moment of goodness gracious. So the Santino, Santino Pinto, what is his last name? Santino
Pinto.
Pinto? It is Pinto?
Yeah.
So he's one of the head of security in the hotel. So he's like a bigger guy. He's broader. He's very like noble, muy macho, right? He wears his jacket his blue seafoam bolero jacket very well. It fits his broad shoulders. So he is coming out of the security room, and he sees Anna coming in, and he says, "Oh, Ms. Ortiz de Santos, de Dios." He tips his hat. Please, after you. And he gestures you in. He walks in the hall.
Do I see do I see Alma leaving, sort of trying to crawl out after?
Oh my God, yes. So he leaves. He tips his hat. He's got a bit of like one of his buttons is undone. And then
you
walk
like
in.
one up. Is it like slightly?
Yeah.
You have one button up a little too high, so everything else is completely misaligned.
Right.
And I stop him and I fix it, like sort of like a manager to a whatever.
And you hear behind you the door creak, and like the gentle tap of heeled footsteps from the room behind you as you're doing that.
And I just have one eyebrow raised, but I don't say anything. Like, whatever. It's between the two of you.
Yeah, and like in the reflection of the mirror in the hallway, you can see the shape of Alma like slipping away and like gently redoing her shirt. So you walk into the room. Then down the hallway, Santino like bumps into Ina and says, Oh my god, my goodness, I'm so sorry, Ms. Ortiz Santos de Dios. Um, Good afternoon. And he tips his hat. But I'm sorry, I thought I were you.
I think you're having a bit of a moment. I think I just saw somebody walking off down the hallway. I would understand if you're a little frazzled at the moment.
Oh, yes. I must be mistaken. Certainly, you can understand it's a very stressful time for all of us. Ever since Rosa's tragic passing, I feel we've all been a little not ourselves.
I I agree. I think this wedding, though it comes at an unfortunate time, will be good for everyone's spirits.
Yes, yes, it will. Mr. Santos, if you don't mind me saying, I've always found you to be an inspiration, and I know that you're not just my employer. I think of you as a friend. I hope if it comes to it, you ever need my assistance with anything, you will not hesitate to call on me.
Of course. And I see in you not just an employee, but someone who's been very loyal to this hotel. And I want to let you know that I appreciate all you've done for us and all the hard work you've put in.
Oh, Mr. Santos, I am flattered. He just puffs up his chest and says, I will let this carry me through the rest of my day. If there's anything you need, really, anything at all, please don't hesitate to ask.
Of course.
He tips his little cap and walks off. So Ina then comes into the room. So Anna is like on this room is tight, right? There are cameras everywhere. These big monitors. Computer controls that look sort of like a mixing console for like a studio, like an audio studio. There's like bits and bobs and knobs and things like that, sliders. Nobody knows how any of this stuff works, but it all looks very very high tech, very fancy. And so I think Anna's like getting down to business, like starting to tap, and the door opens behind you. What do you do?
Are you walking in as I'm in the room?
That's it. I don't know.
Or
you could like crack the door and like
I
peek
think Ina is watching, because if Ina ran into something and sort of got the notion that he had just bumped into Anna, I think her assumption is that Anna had the same idea she did, because of course she did. And then is now like just spying.
Ooh, would I have overheard that conversation, or was it far enough away that I didn't?
I think it's further enough down the hall that like it would have been tricky.
Yeah, so I'm just basically going back to the time where I think I roughly imagined was the time that the camera that basically checking out Evita's story.
Okay.
That's great. I'm gonna watch that if that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
plan
you
is
are.
Are you gonna knock me over the head with a bottle and take over?
No. That's far too unsubtle. No.
Yeah, I think you can look in, and as Anna is doing things, that would probably be a good time. Whatever she finds out, to try and spot something out of place, to be like, oh, what are you doing? So for Anna, you have a move. When you check the security tapes to find out who was at a location at a certain time, roll with the questions. Are you viewing the footage with more than just the security guards?
The question is whether I know someone else is viewing it.
Right.
Technically,
it's true, but I don't know that.
I think the answer is no, right?
Yeah.
Do you also have something to hide on the tapes?
No.
Okay.
Not for this particular instance.
Okay. But would you have done things that were potentially compromising in areas you knew where the cameras were? Or are you like too careful right now?
Right now, probably too careful after the wedding and for the time frame that I'm looking at.
Yeah. All right. And then your question is, are you keeping your hands clean?
For the time being, yes.
Okay. So roll and add +1.
Anna is the real cinnamon roll. She's done no wrong.
Yeah. That's the secret.
So that's a total of 8.
Okay. So on a hit, you get video evidence suggesting who was there and what they did. On the 7 and 9, you choose one of the options. The sound is good enough to hear what people are saying. The video is good enough to definitively ID people. Or you discover a secret that you weren't looking for. The GM will tell you what.
Ooh, definitely option 3.
All right.
Because I think it's one of those I maybe was sort of like, I wanted to check it out. And I'm expecting totally what Evita said there is, but something else catches my eye.
Okay, fabulous. So you get to that, you go to that moment in time and you see Evita and Andrea having a tender moment by one of the hallways, maybe like bumping up against like an urn at one of the end tables, and like it smashes. That's why so-and-so said that they had to clean up the thing over on the by room 251. Those two making out. You're like, oh, what else is here, right? So I think we get a shot of like, you're kind of going back in time. You're going back. What happened last night? Oh, what's this? And you see Ina sneaking through one of the hallways, just like very gently lurking and meandering along. And Ina like goes to a door and like seems like maybe she's trying to pick the lock to get in. And then she stands up bolt upright. And we see a figure. So Ina's facing the camera. Someone else comes up, running up to her, and is saying something. Can't make it out.
I can't ID who that person is.
Perhaps with a move. So what you see is this person is like looking around. They look behind them a little bit, get like maybe a glimpse of a face, and then they reach into their jacket and pull out. You see the glint of this beautiful pearl-handled revolver, all chrome and steel, and they flip it around and they press it into Ina's hands, and they're like, okay, and then they run down the hallway with their back facing the camera.
Okay, so I know it's Ina, but does it look like if anyone were to just use it, it looks like me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It looks like you for all intents and purposes.
So what I would like to do, if I'm able to, is make a copy for myself.
Perfect. Yeah.
And then erase it.
All right. So you make the copy, erase, which Ina sees.
Yeah. And then I would probably make a move to leave once that is accomplished.
Okay. I think you're acting with desperation to leave without being noticed.
Yeah.
Are you doing it for love?
Yes. I think so.
And are you doing it for vengeance?
No, it's definitely covering my butt.
Yeah. And you're trying to keep your hands clean, are you not?
Yes, I'm trying to keep my hands clean.
You've like literally and figuratively. You're like, oh
yeah. This is basically something I'm going to use to, at some point when I do find Ina, confront her with. But for now, I'm trying to cover my ass.
Yeah. All right. So you're gonna roll and add 2. So I think you're using like a cloth or something to wipe down everything, and use a cloth on the door handle. So Ina, you see the door creak, and so I think the result of this move determines whether or not you get scared and back up, or you run face first into your twin.
So I got a total of 10.
Okay. You managed to hold it together. So you get out without being seen. So I think maybe what it is the door opens. Ina presses flush against the back of the wall as Anna comes out. So the door is blocking Ina. Anna comes storming out and is so focused on leaving safely that she breezes past. And Ina
the door
turns and sees, right, like running along. What do you do?
Ina, having seen that, goes into the security room. I think is going to also check for something, but knows that also Anna has deleted something from the footage and has made a copy of it, and is keeping that tucked away for later. But goes in to see, having seen like the Anna was looking for this video of Evita and Andrea together, goes to look at that again because plans.
Yes.
Because of the two of us with the scheming playbook, apparently I stole it at some point.
Well, you are my twin.
So that's what I'm going to try to do is, I think, look over the tapes to see if I can spot something. Or how does that work? What did I see, I guess, is the more important, is the question I'm currently sitting with.
Yeah, so I think you can, since the scene has been set, the footage of the gun being passed off is gone.
Right. Okay.
But you can check the security tapes to find who was at a location at a certain time.
I want to see if I can find the footage where Anna was that night. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. You're not viewing this with more than just the security guards.
Correct.
I feel like you do absolutely have something to hide on those tapes.
Yep. Well, technically not anymore.
That's true. And you're using your twin's reputation in this? Or no? I don't know if you are.
I don't think I am. I feel like if it's treating as a broader move in the scene, well, I use my reputation to get into the security office without being caught, but I don't think that's really, I don't know if that applies to this.
Not quite. So why don't you go and roll and add only one to that?
Okay. Sounds good. Whoa.
You're on fire.
All right.
Seriously. Wow.
You got my luck with roll 20.
I'm really honestly, this is driving into the conclusion where I roll like garbage at the end, and that's just great drama right
Perfect.
there.
So you get video evidence suggesting who was there and what they did. You get to choose two options from the list. The sound is good enough to hear what people are saying. The video is good enough to definitively ID people. And you discover a secret you weren't looking for. The GM will do what?
I would like to discover a secret.
Okay.
I'd like to discover a secret, and then I'd like it to be good enough to hear what people are saying if that's part of that secret, if that makes sense.
Okay. So it looks like it's Anna. You can't if it came down to it in a court of law, you can't really tell.
Sure.
But it sounds like Anna, as far as you can tell.
Yeah.
Now, when was the last time that Anna and Evita were together?
Literally at the cellar.
That? Right.
Yeah.
But prior to that, was it a few days before, or
It was the Friday the 13th incident in the hotel lobby.
Yes.
We brought up.
Okay, so that was 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So the night of Rosa's murder. That's the question.
Were we together at the night of Rosa's murder?
I think I said that to Ina because that's why I was suspicious of what was going on.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, but we were together, so how you couldn't have done it?
Right. So that's what we see is you get confirmation of that. So where would you have met? One of the suites? By the pool?
I think probably somewhere. Huh.
You mentioned
one of those, if
in
it's
the lobby,
gotten-
right?
Oh
yeah, probably in the lobby.
Oh yeah, because you guys are like sort of exhibitionists.
Yeah.
So it's late at night. It's in the lobby. It's almost midnight. Everyone has gone to sleep. The lights are dimmed, and you hear and see two shapes kind of like come down two ends of this massive spiral staircase that flanks the main lobby, coming down, and you hear, my love, it's been so long. I, I've dreamed of this moment. Yes, yes, of course. Take me here, take me now. And you hear the splashing of water as the two lovers are locked in the throes of passion in the water feature, in the fountain itself.
You hear some plants being thrown very violently to one side.
And there's some like waving fronds, like suggestively as people back into them.
But the camera is just at the wrong angle where the fountain itself is in the way. So
yeah, of course.
And there's declarations like, "Anna, my love, you are the only one for me."
Secret I wasn't looking for.
Yeah. Was you were not looking for that evidence. Nerdy Teddy Bear, thank you so much for the subscription. 8 months, fantastic. That's so great. Thank you for joining us. You've come in, if you have not been here yet, there's a lot of drama going on, a lot of kissing, a lot of secrets. Okay, so that's what you see.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you do?
So what I do is I don't need a copy of that. But what I do is because I know there's a gap in the tapes leading to there's going to be a gap in the tape on the camera leading to what would be, I believe, Rose's room that night.
Yes.
So I wipe every camera from there to the lobby so that you get the footage of Anna walking and then a whole bunch of blank space and then Anna leaving as where the cameras have very clearly have been deleted some way.
Perfect.
So it looks like she was doing something, but really they're just empty hallways.
Yeah, really, there's just empty hallways there. Yeah, like there was nothing that
like so I tried to wipe
either
the
it was
tapes.
empty hallways or me. Like that was it. And so you just get this big blank of that's a conveniently large hole in the timestamp for around the time somebody died. But that way the only person you see moving, and then I kind of make sure that like I'm removed from the rest of it, so the only person walking through the hotel that night is Anna, and then like Evita leaving some other way around the same time, but you never see the two of them meet, and you never see what happens in the hallways leading to Rose's room.
Perfect.
Or in Rose's room either, though I doubt there's a camera in there.
Okay. So what do you do with that information? Yes.
So then I leave, and then I go and find Santino.
Okay. Let's cut to Andrea.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I kind of want to escalate the time scale to like prepping for the wedding.
Yeah, perfect.
Like, I think I'm putting on my wedding outfit and I'm helping Elena put on hers. Like we're just prepping for the wedding. Because I'm assuming like at least a maid of honor, if not like the bridesmaid.
Yes. I think she is the maid of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. But yeah. Yes. So I think I'm helping just getting her outfit ready and stuff, and we're just chatting because it's been a long time since we've had a moment like this. How have you been?
You know, being a world-renowned pastry chef has been such an exhausting experience, frankly. You know, Andrea, what I've always appreciated about you is you're so down to earth. You don't... These people, these high society people, it's not for me. They're so fake with their plastic smiles all day and day out, having to kiss up to everybody else. It's so refreshing to be able to be honest with you.
Andrea smiles and goes, it definitely has been a slap in the face to be back in this world again. But some things are more a sip of fresh water. And I'll look at her.
And she looks down at a glass of water that is there, and she swirls it, and she takes a little sip, and she says, "Why do you say that? Are you?" And she puts the glass down and dips her finger into the glass and sort of like smears it into her hair, kind of like redoes her hair a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you feeling thirsty?
I'll smile, walk up, take her glass, take a sip. I believe I am.
She says, Andrea, if we do a thing that perhaps we are dancing around, people will talk if they find out.
People will talk anyways. People will be talking about something bigger anyway after tomorrow.
And she gets very close to you, and she breathes in. She says, "Have you changed your fragrance since the last time we spoke?"
Honesty smells a lot better on me than deceit.
And I think that's where she presses herself up onto the desk, and gently like come hithers you with her finger. So she's like, yes, come closer. Let us get better acquainted.
I think I walk over and just lean in and go for a kiss.
Fabulous. While this is happening, I think Evita is coming down the hallway with like 6 different wine lists. And Evita also has to be somewhere to meet Wina, I believe.
Oh God, you're right. Yep.
So Evita, I think you're walking by and you stop for a second, like, oh God, what am I doing? Where am I? And you hear from the inside of the room, you hear Andrea's voice and someone else's. You can't quite pick out whose it is, but they're being very familiar with each other.
Oh man.
What do you do?
Let's see here. Should I roll for my move, do you think?
I
was
think
really
you
there
can
the
do
whole
that.
time, but
Yeah.
that sounds fun. I kind of like leaving it a little bit up to chance.
Okay.
Do my words ring in your head as that happens?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you can use Keys to the Castle.
Okay, so I'll roll.
Do you work here? Yes. Are you dressed to blend in? Yes. Are you in over your head?
Maybe not. I think this might be
think at
more like
present, yeah.
Andrea's in over their head.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and roll and add 2?
Okay.
I want you to succeed, but I also want you to fail.
I know, right?
The ultimate GM mood.
I got an 11.
Okay, fantastic.
Wow. I kind of wanted to fail that too.
I know.
Really?
So on an 11, you got away without being spotted. or you ask the conspirators a follow-up question, your choice.
That's an or, so that means I can just open the door and then be able to ask a question, which seems kind of cool. I think I'll do that, because that's the most interesting thing to do.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So,
drama, yes.
Yeah. Why would you run away?
yeah, now what question am I going to ask? Oh my goodness.
Well, here's the setup, I think, is
Yeah.
so you open the door and you step into the room holding your wine lists. And what you see in this room, it's one of the suites. So there's a bed, but on the desk is Elena in her bridesmaid's, her maid of honor's dress, which is like half zipped in the back. And wrapped in her arms is Andrea, sharing sweet nothings. What do you do?
Okay, so let's say to do a tiny retcon, maybe in addition to the wine list, I also have the fancy expensive wine bottle that's like caked in dust, where I've just gotten it from the archives, and it drops obviously from my nerveless fingers and shatters dramatically in slow motion on the ground, and then I just look like totally stricken at Andrea, and I say, "How long has this been going on?"
So Andrea turns around, just like shocked by the shattering noise, and I think they were about to ask, like, "Are you okay?" But you ask first. They go, "Well, I mean, we knew each other when we were kids, but as of right now, for about 2 minutes." Better question I have for you is, and Andrea reaches out a hand. "Would you care to join us?"
Oh my god!
I feel like you're expressing your love passionately.
Yes. And okay, so if I'm gonna do that, I think I walk over and I just like very, very casually glide over the shattered glass and go, "After all, it would be completely unsafe for you to walk over all this glass." And I scoop you up and I spin over the shattered glass and drop you on the table.
That is so good.
Yes.
Yes.
So the questions.
Are you dressed to impress? I feel like yes.
Yeah, so I can
this is your
describe
wedding
the outfit I
attire.
was wearing for the wedding, which is I'm wearing a black strapless dress and a seafoam blue trench coat on top. The trench coat is only on one shoulder right now.
That's so good.
It's so good.
I am impressed. I am duly impressed.
Do they believe that you are single?
Do you believe that?
I mean, does
Does
it
it matter?
No?
I feel like I want to give you the point anyway.
Fair. Am I handling things without guile and head on?
Yes.
Mean, yeah.
Yes.
And I'm using grand gesture. When you express your love passionately, add the question, are you making this absurdly elaborate and excessive?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes. So go ahead and roll +4.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. That's an 8. Good thing I had that.
After all that, yeah.
Wow.
Your target gives themselves to you or reveals a
no.
secret they probably shouldn't. Your choice, Evita.
Yeah, this definitely works, I think. And we see like her, faint, tremulous hand reaching out to you, and then like slowly, hesitantly also reaching out towards Elena. 2 handholds at once.
And I think
It's very much for
the
you.
scene cut is just, I raise a finger like 1 second, I do another dramatic spin to the door, shove it closed.
Yeah.
And the camera cuts on the door closing.
The door closes, yeah. And
That's
from
so good.
inside, Elena, we hear like the muffled sound of Elena saying, "Come here, my dear. I work with pastry all the time. I know how to be sweet."
Oh.
We get another hot jump cut to Ina in the suite that Evita is supposed to be meeting Ina in right now.
Oh my god, you're right.
Evita is late. What does Ina do?
Oh, I don't think Ina ever intended to show up.
Perfect. There's an empty suite.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps
Beautiful.
it's the kitchen where it's like now it's actually the busiest time.
Yeah.
Everyone's waiting for the wine.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all
The
of the
head
ones
chef
they
is
do
storming
have are
around.
unlabeled.
Where is Evita? We're supposed to mystery wine. How did we ever let this slide? Just go out. Just start serving it. Pour grape juice in it. Put a shot of vodka in it. No one will care. We get a shot of like waiters desperately like pushing out trays of champagne flutes as we cut into
They're all different.
ballroom itself.
They're all different colors. Every like tray has a champagne flute with different colors in it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's
So
like jungle juice.
let us go to
Everyone at this wedding getting trashed like a freshman.
let us go to the wedding. We are beachside, so it's evening, obviously. So the waiters are like coming out of the kitchens and through the ballroom and then down onto the beach itself. So there are tiki torches, like classy ones, lining the pathway down onto the beach. String lights. So there's been this massive pavilion that's been set up by the light of the moon. There is a long like space made. A whole platform has been built on the beach, so people don't have to get sand all over their nice clothes. And there is a seafoam green carpet that is run all the way down the length of the promenade and up onto an altar. Immaculate white chairs, people schmoozing and having a great time. Is this a Cote Neron? I believe this is actually. And one of the waiters like, oh no, it's a Chateau de Beauvoir, 1976. Very good vintage. Walks away. I think Anna is here having a meltdown, perhaps, because
yes,
frantic. And Maria is not here because she's the bride. She's the bride to be. She's like the and Carmela is actually here, and she's overseeing her catering staff. So she's both waiting for Maria to show up and having a professional meltdown as the caterers are like struggling to get everything down. Like the logistics were not considered very well. So what do you do?
Me, Anna?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, there was a lot of initial prior to the wedding, like, you know, to basically show that I am capable of handling the restaurant and that I am really the one who should do the catering and sort of like blocking Carmilla every step of the way professionally. And now it's like I'm trying to make sure that my team gets everything out and kind of beats everyone to the punch. But suddenly I hear that the wine is going out and why are they all different colors? What the fuck sort of a thing. And it's like, where's Evita? and everyone's just shrugging like, I don't know. And I'm having a meltdown and I am looking for Evita everywhere.
So I think you have to mark a condition because of the stress of this situation.
Probably. I don't know whether obsessed or preoccupied fits better.
I think preoccupied, probably.
Yeah. So I am very preoccupied with trying to show Carmilla's catering service up while making sure the wedding goes smoothly so that Carmilla, the bride, is satisfied. And on the other hand, where the fuck is Evita? So I am just looking and I'm sort of like asking everyone I can, when did you last see her?
Alma comes up. Yes, Ms. Ortiz Santos de Dios. I'm so sorry, Evita was scheduled here. Would you like me to call her?
Immediately.
Yes, of course. she
And I'm very curt, and I'm very sort of like angry boss.
yes, he says right away. And she gets.
And
on
I'm
her
also
cell phone.
calling. I'm also calling Evita as this is going on.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you get like a series. Evita's phone is blowing up.
Mhm.
But I don't know if this is like happening as you are still in the throes of passion or like moments after. But you were in the room with Andrea and Elena, and your phone is going off.
Right.
I feel like it's after we're like casually, at least Elena and I are casually getting ready because we have to be there, but not immediately. We just have to show up when the bride show up.
Mhm.
So we've got time to readjust ourselves.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's no urgency compared to the phone calls.
Yeah. And Evita just looks like, super like blissed out. There's like a leaf from the potted plant is like stuck in her hair, and she's like, how did that even get there? So she's like picking herself up like, whoa. And then sees her phone has been like on, vibrate, just in her pocket the whole time.
The whole
She's just-
time.
yeah. And so she pulls it out, and it's like, you have 67 missed calls. And she's like, oh god, oh no. I've
And it
made
goes off
mistakes.
again.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
Anna is calling you. What do you do?
Oh man, I guess I answer it.
Ah.
Here it comes.
Okay.
So remember that switcheroo move I have?
So it's
I'm-
Ina, in fact,
Yes, it
calling
is,
as
in fact,
Anna.
Ina. How
That's
do
perfect.
And
like
mine's
that.
going to voicemail instead.
Yours is
Yeah,
going
yeah.
directly to voicemail.
It was like a half second off.
I think I overheard because I'm sort of lurking around. I'm following Anna around to make sure everything is going successfully badly. And I was like, I'm gonna start calling, and I'm like,
You have like a masquerade mask on, so no one thinks it's
Yeah. yeah.
Ooh.
Are you like
Um,
part of the entertainment or something?
No, you know what I think it is? I think at this point, Ina has changed and is mixed in with the staff who all have like masks on.
Mhm.
Because Ina had mentioned that like masks would be a great idea, and Anna was like, "That's a great idea. I'm pretty sure I thought of that." So like all the staff have masks on, so Ina is wearing like a waitress outfit, and it has a mask on, so nobody knows. But so it sort of slipped off to one side and flips up the phone, and I have to mark a condition to do that apparently. So I think we're gonna mark reactive. That seems good because I want to keep Evita away from Anna as long as possible.
Oh, that's so good.
Alright, man. So I have righteous and reactive currently.
And every voicemail is just like making me more and more pissed.
I think
Yeah.
you have to mark a condition for that as well.
Okay, I will mark off obsessed at this point.
Perfect.
That's
Perfect.
I feel great. I'm having a great day.
Everyone
you
else
actually
is-
should
everyone
mark a
else is
condition
having
too,
great
because
time.
you're
That's fair,
realizing
yeah.
everything
Yeah.
is going wrong.
That's true. When I look at the phone, I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah. Evita and Andrea are doing fine. Anna and Ina are slowly driving towards a meltdown at like the speed of we're gonna get one.
I'm gonna go cornered. I
Yep.
think is a very specific
Corner's
one.
good.
Yeah, I feel cornered.
And so Ina's like, did you forget?
You see, I'm like looking around at Andrea and Elena.
Do you mind if I take the phone from you?
Oh, sure. That sounds ideal.
I'm
Thank
so
you
ready
for
to do
protecting
it.
Step
me.
in to
Do it.
defend someone.
Oh,
Do
perfect.
it. Do it. I'm
Do
so
it.
ready.
I'll take the phone. And like, is it just a phone number? Or does it have caller ID? Like, who does it say?
I think it looks like it's Anna's number.
Yeah.
I think Ina's figured out a way to spoof the number
Perfect.
and like the
And there's a
contact.
picture,
Probably.
but you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna phrase this in a way that applies to both Anna and Ina.
I'm so ready.
So I pick up the phone and go, "Can I help you?"
Andrea, are you with Evita right now?
Why do you act so surprised? I figured if you told me to stay away from her, you'd know I'd be with her. Unless... Which one am I talking to right now? Does Evita know?
Anna, obviously, because Evita was supposed to be working.
You know, even when we were kids, you had just a slightly different way of pronouncing the letter C.
I feel like you're revealing a shocking truth.
Uh-huh.
Because you're in front of Elena and Evita?
Yup.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I feel like that's the right move there.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. So mark a condition and roll with your total conditions marked.
Okay. I will roll with +2 then. That's a 6.
Okay. It blows up in your face hard. GM will tell you how. So I think what's happening is like you're having this conversation. You make the decision to reveal. Ina knows, right, that you're with Evita.
Yes.
So Ina knows that you've just said out loud. I think theorizes like, oh well, now the cat's out of the bag. Now Evita knows that Anna and I are like identical twins.
There is Anna is not in fact a single person.
I have never figured it out, and it's been 70 episodes.
Right. And so I think we have this like moment of Evita like looks just over the camera, and like as you're looking up, the camera pans up so we see your face just like that, and like in the space above your head in like a soft focus cloud, there's like all of these moments where like Anna and Evita are interacting, and you're like, wait, no, that was weird. And like, oh, Anna and Evita and Ina or Anna are like making out in the stairwell, and like, which one was it? Was it this one? Was it that one?
Yes.
So I tell.
That's so good.
I think the revelation makes Evita have to mark another condition.
Yep.
Maybe hopeless.
Hopeless seems pretty right. Yeah.
I have something I want to throw into the mix, which
Oh
is
boy.
Shoot.
would I have put a friend tracker app in Evita's phone?
Ooh.
I'll allow
And
it.
I
It's
walk
up to
in at
me.
this point.
So this whole time, like
Yes.
while you've been having this conversation, like it's been split screen. So like half the screen is the conversation going back and forth between Ina and Andrea, and the other half is Anna's heels storming up the stairs through the halls of the hotel, and finally we get like that classic spy movie, like two things line up.
Yeah.
The screen becomes one shot, and Anna throws open the door.
And looks at everything and is pissed.
And I'm just gonna say, I think this phone call is for you. And I toss you the phone.
And I just tentatively pick the phone up and I put it to my ear and I say, hello?
Hello, sister.
You bitch.
Well, this is a little awkward, isn't it? How's your wedding going?
You're the reason. And I just take it and I throw the phone over the balcony.
Yep. Evita's like, my phone.
And then it's, oh no, your phone.
I like that we established this was like a lower level, so I feel like it falls like one floor onto a couch on the lower floor.
Yes.
Yep.
One of the couches by the pool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. And Evita sees you do this, and she's just like, she doesn't say anything, but she's looking at you, and she just like has this rush of terrible emotions going through her. Does it make sense for me to also mark Lovelorn at this point?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, I now have 3 conditions marked.
Beautiful.
I feel like I should mark another condition.
I feel like you probably should too.
I think introspective, because I'm now what the fuck is going on, and things are coming together.
So, since we're on the condition train, can I also mark driven? Because I feel like knowing that like I only have 30 seconds basically to do something.
That sounds
Cool.
right.
All right. We are one away from a meltdown. Let's go.
I'm one away from a meltdown, too.
Yes!
Same. Also same.
So, this room is full of tension and drama, and Elena looks around and she finally says, "My goodness, I seem to have come back at a very unopportune time."
And I just like put my finger and hand up like, not now.
I'm gonna just like silently walk over, zip up, like finish zipping up for Jessica. You should probably get out there.
Yes, of course. She hustles out.
And I'm just looking daggers at Evita right now, because clearly Pasion happened.
Yeah. It's very clear. And what do I even do? Oh man. Jeez.
That's when Alma comes running in too. So Alma's got her phone out and her clipboard, and she like throws her arms up and goes, "Evita, there you are! My goodness, I've been looking all up."
Out. Close the door.
Spins around on a heel, and closes the door immediately.
Slides through the wine and broken glass on the ground.
Yep.
I walk up to Andrea, and I would love to give the classic soap opera like slap that kind of is like, like the bitch slap.
The open palm, like
Yeah.
You're striking out with violence. It sounds
No,
like.
you're not.
Yeah. Okay. What's
So we established that we're just like on a balcony, one layer up from the pool, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to, as you do that, just spin you around the same way I spun Evita earlier, but like spin you around and throw you off into the pool.
Yes.
So is this like
Off
a
the
roll off?
balcony.
No,
Is
The
this a-
balcony!
and I do it.
Yeah, you mark a condition, you do it, and then I think you can
Okay.
also mark a condition to trigger your meltdown and also fall and also
Yeah.
Yep.
take Andre into the
I will totally have my meltdown and fall off.
Oh man.
Oh. So that means Andrea goes with you, right? Because
Yeah,
you're
the
marking
move is when someone
that's
attempts
so
to strike
good.
at you or demand what you deserve while by the pool, we're technically by the pool, you can mark a condition to throw them into the pool and escape their wrath. If you do this, they may immediately mark a condition to drag you in with them.
Oh yes.
So you can trigger your meltdown.
Beautiful.
I almost imagine as I'm trying to strike you, you grab my hand, do the spin, and I just hang on to you as
I
we.
think I'm also just spinning so fast that like as I throw you, I just keep spinning and I spin over and like fall in as well.
Right. So the two of you are like thrown off the balcony into we like get a slow-mo shot of like Evita going like reaching out and then a slow fall with like the wires are clearly visible of Anna and Andrea like wrestling in midair, spinning and spiraling until whoosh.
And is it in
Crash
front of the
pool.
wedding party?
Right. The bridal party is getting ready to like go down the promenade. So Maria is there in her dress.
No.
And down on the bottom, like you can see Carmela is like, what is? She's like looking up and she starts running up the stairs. So the two of you are wrestling in the pool. Evita is above there. Where is Ina right now? It's like somewhere in the distance, which is totally legit.
I'm not sure. I'm going to place it. Can I place Evita at the most opportune place when I figure out what that is? I don't know. I don't actually know where Ina would be right now.
That's fine. So you're somewhere. So the two, Anna and Andrea, are wrestling in the pool. What are you doing? What is Evita doing?
Oh jeez. I'll let you guys go first.
Elena has come down the stairs and like enters the scene as you fall. And she's like, oh!
I think like once we're in the pool, I think like at least Andrea isn't gonna like keep fighting. Like I think Andrea's gonna break off and they think just pull themselves out of the pool. Because I think they've done what they want.
I'm just like trying to wade through. I don't really know how to swim, but this is on the shallow end, and I'm like trying to grab their hair to just kind of like come back you.
I think I just like very strongly swim away because I can do that. And I think I just splash you once in the face and that pushes you off me.
Yeah. And my move until something changes is basically to just keep like, you're not leaving here. I am going to. I'm not actually going to murder you, but I really want to right now. Sort of a.
You will bend the knee, right? That's...
Yeah.
I think I could express my love passionately. Seems like an option at this point.
Yeah, you can just like from the balcony just
Ooh.
yell over and scream your support for one of the two lovers that you have.
Yeah.
But which one, though? Oh, jeez. So I think I will... Oh, they're both so good. Why did you all make such good characters? I'm going to...
One tells nothing but lies, one tells nothing but truths.
Yes! I'm going to jump off the balcony to the pool also, I think. I think that's the correct move. Is just do like a dive with my arms outstretched, falling down into the pool.
You come out with like the hair waving and the slow motion wade.
Yeah.
I think at this point I'm almost out, and then I see you do that, and then I immediately turn back and like I'm.
Okay, Evita cannot swim. She has never learned to swim, so she is immediately sinking.
So, no! I'm almost out, and then I see this happening. I'm like, and I turn around and start swimming back.
Yes.
And I'm now trying to rip the two of them apart.
Yeah. So I think at this point, Ida comes out wearing what is obviously something they stole from Anna's wardrobe. That's where they've been. Yes. Comes out and just goes, enough! And like the band, like music stops, people stop moving, and it's just this soggy mess in a pool. And I would like to reveal a shocking truth.
Perfect.
Which I think also triggers my meltdown, which I'm very excited about.
Okay.
So, because Ina has come up with a great way to get everything they've ever wanted. And their meltdown is, for too long you've measured success by your twin, no more. You claim the thing that they most treasure. Maybe you enjoy the riches, power, or delights you stole. Maybe you light it up and watch it burn. Tomorrow you'll probably have to face your twin, but tonight you'll show that you can take their life if you wish it. And I think, metaphorically, Ina is going to try and take Anna's entire name right now.
Whoa.
And so I'm going to have to mark a condition that brings it before, and then to reveal a shocking truth. Anna turns to Santino and says, call the police. We have a criminal in our midst.
Oh, Ms. Ortiz de Santos de Dios. Of course, but who is the criminal?
And Ina points imperiously at Anna and is like, my twin, Ina.
And Santino does a double take. And he's like one of those which one do I shoot moments.
Yep.
He's staggered. Everyone is staggered. Elena is like, oh, goodness. Now this is a wedding.
Yeah.
And Maria's like, Anna, what is the meaning of all of this? How could something like this happen on my... Which one of you is Anna?
I am actually not quite listening yet because
you're too busy
I'm still trying to pull them apart, and my meltdown is the ungrateful wealth take and take. You cut off the worms leeching off of you. You put them in line and show them how grateful they should be. Maybe you throw them out onto the street and let them work for a change. Maybe you make public changes to your estate and show where your favor lies. Tomorrow you'll find yourself alone, but tonight you'll be surrounded by begging sycophants. So it's like the ultimate, my lover, and it's like, you're fired! And it's just ripping the two of you apart.
I think you might have enough strength to try to drown me.
Oh yeah, now after saying you're fired, I'm trying to drown you in the most pathetic way possible.
Oh no!
Okay.
So at this point, Carmela runs up and she says, no one's going to be calling any police until all of this is resolved my way. And we see she is wearing the same silk gloves that we saw in the opening sequence or the closing credits from last episode. And she reaches into her immaculate black suit with a sequined pattern around it, much like angel wings on the back. And she removes a different gun. It is a large magnum pistol, and she levels it at Elena, who is standing there, like looking like, huh. And she is grabbing onto Maria for dear life, her Carmela's bride, and she points the gun at Elena, and she says, "Move, my love. None of this would have happened if she had stayed where she was. Let me have my justice, and we can be together forever." What do you do?
I mean, I think I'm trying to think what the best way to do it.
Can I do a thing?
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, do you get something? You got something?
I have something. If you don't have, like, I don't want to step on anything, but if you've got something, go for it.
What's your thing?
Okay. So my thing is, so can I declare I have the gun from the trailer?
Yes.
Okay. So
you've had it on your person this whole time.
Anna reaches into the little clutch they have, pulls out the gun from the teaser from last episode, levels it at Carmela, and says, not in my hotel.
And she says, and she looks over at Ina and says, "Don't try and pull that with me. You and I both know we killed Rosa so that things would be different. Things would be better. We could have had everything together. We could have walked away from this clean. You had to open your mouth with your schemes, with your lies. I won't have any of it, and not on my wedding day, and you will not be the one to ruin it." And she shoots.
Okay. I would like to leap out of the pool and tackle Elena out of the way.
So you crawl your way out from the pool and dive. Yeah. Okay. So who are you? Carmela is trying to shoot Ina. Are you trying to defend Ina?
Oh no! If he's shooting Ina, then no.
No.
That's Ina's messing up.
All right, so we'll she might get to shoot depending on what happens here. So why don't you, Ina, roll with the number of conditions you have marked.
Okay.
Face certain death.
Oh.
All right.
Well, there.
Bless 4 conditions.
That's what your constant rolling of 13 gets you.
So you're facing certain death. On a 10 plus, the audience chooses one option from this list. So if we were playing a campaign of this, each time somebody faces certain death, we would mark off one of these options so nobody else can use it later again. These are all classic tropes. Our options are: someone saves you just in time, take a distinctive but sexy scar, gain a permanent debility, become a twisted evil version of yourself, suffer amnesia, return with a new face, or wind up in a possibly long-term coma. And as the audience, the rest of you all get to decide what you think is the most fun.
I feel like return with a different face is fun because it means
Yeah.
she loses her biggest asset. And after all this time of trying to get stuff to Anna or taken away from Anna, Anna ends up being the only person with that face, for better or for worse. And
Also, now we can have twin scenes by hiring another actor.
Exactly, yeah! I was just about to say! somebody's like daughter is like trying to break into the acting business now, and we're like,
Yeah.
well, just write out the character, put a different. We also don't want to pay you too much because you have to double your
Yeah.
rate every time you show up.
Exactly. Anna, the actress, is incredibly annoyed.
So Carmela takes the shot, and we see the slow motion of Elena like cowering behind her friend Maria reaching out like, no, my love. And Ina, being the survivalist she is, right, has the gun, is ready to take her own shot. Would you like to try and shoot her back?
I am juggling whether or not Ina shoots. So I am juggling the. Okay, so wait, no. So Carmela has just accused Anna of like scheming to kill Rosa, right?
Yes.
Okay. No, I know exactly what happens. Ina like points the gun at Carmela, and as Carmela raises the gun at her, drops the gun.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Carmela
So that's
takes
the threat. Like,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
shoot you, and so she's
So Carmela takes a shot. Ina drops the gun, looks at Andrea, gives like the most like repetitive false smile possible, and then falls back in such an artful way that you see the hair fly back and the earring exposes as they fall back against after having been shot.
Yep. So we don't see what happens, but the bullet grazes like across your face, leaving this very distinctive, very sexy scar across Ina's face. But now we know exactly who is who. But she collapses. We don't see the blood coming out of her face, but we know it's there. But this will be the close of the episode. So Carmela is left there with the smoking gun. She blows it out, and she stuffs it back in her jacket. And she puts her arm out, and she says, "My dear Maria, you look beautiful tonight. Let's get married." And they go arm in arm, and they walk down. Elena is shaking, and she looks over her shoulder and she says, "I'll deal with you in time." The camera pans up as we see an aerial shot of Anna still like trying to shove Andrea underneath the water and like flailing, just smashing the water and yelling at everyone like, "You're fired, and you're fired, and you're fired." Evita like, my loves. Andrea there like,
I think Andrea's like carried Evita out of the pool at this point because Evita's drowning.
Carrying Evita out in their arms. Ina lying on the ground, and we see as Ina fell, one of the wine glasses nearby was knocked out, and it shatters into 1,000 pieces, giving us a reflection of the moment that Ina and Andrea shared earlier in the episode. And we see scene pool, and then we cut to black.
Yay!
We'll have to wait until next episode, which won't happen, to find out what happens. So,
oh my god.
So
I thank you all so much for joining us on tonight's game of Pasion de las Pasiones. It's been truly an honor and a pleasure to play with everyone. So we're going to wrap it up. I would like to have us go around and say who you are very, very briefly, because we're a bit over time. Where people can find you on the internet, and any other projects you have that you'd like to shout out. We'll start with Ina.
Oh,
who are you in real life?
Sorry,
Yeah.
me. Okay. Hi. Hello. So, thank you. First off, thank you very much for joining us. So I'm John. You can find me on Twitter at Ryomasa, RY0MASA. Somebody has my name. But I am a grad student focusing on the therapeutic application of tabletops and role-playing games as my thesis work, as well as my sort of specialization. And I'm also on 2 different shows that you can find. One on Unmade Gaming, which you can find on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. It's called Through the Glass. It is a Monster of the Week, powered by the Apocalypse game, where I play a cinnamon roll that's very much unlike Ina. The other show that I just started this past week is New Acadia Nights, which is on Scraticus Academy Thursdays at 9:30. Yes, these times are both EST. And that is an Urban Shadows game we're playing there. So please check it out, give the cast some love, and thank you very much for joining us.
All right, let's go to Andrea Amr.
Hey, I'm Amr Amaraz. You can find me on the internets at Amaraz. And I'm mostly on a voice on the Musaffirs, which I'm sure Miriam will talk about more in a second, as well as the Playtest podcast, which is a podcast with my friend and co-host Chris Foster, who we're designing a Pokemon Powered by the Apocalypse game using a similar plus question system like this one. So if you enjoyed listening to this system and you like Pokemon and emotions and real bad drama, you can go listen to that. And yeah, I also do game design. You can find that on my Twitter. Next.
Fabulous, thank you. Evita, Alex.
Hi everyone. This was actually my first time ever streaming, so thank you so much for watching. That was really
Wow.
fun. So I'm not on any other streams at the moment. I am a game designer, so you can find me on Twitter at Zindaris, which is the Twitch chat I have is Saradniz, which is that backwards, but I'll type it out. And I have an itch.io. You can find a couple of games that I've made there, including Dragon Hearts, which is my romance game. So if you like my romance play here, that you can do that, but as dragons that can shapeshift. So that's pretty fun. And yeah, that's pretty much all where I am now, but hopefully I'll be more places in the future too.
Fabulous. And last but certainly not least, Anna Mariam, where are you at and what do you do?
Yeah, so I am Mariam. You can find me on Twitter at media_junkie. My biggest, I guess, claim to fame is writing Serzamin, which is a South Asian fantasy campaign setting, which a lot of you have played in various shapes and forms. I am currently now on 2 podcasts, powered by the players, as part of the Masks series, as well as I will be, I think the episodes are not released yet, but it's already been all over the internet. So I am part of Soul Story for No Show Radio season 2. And in addition, I am the creator and GM for the Musaffirs, which Amr is one of the main characters, and which is also set in Sarzamin. And if you are in the Toronto area in 2 weeks, I will be at Breakout, running a couple of. Yes, and Amr is going to be there, and that's where I will get to play in person the Pocket Monster Tales thing, which I'm so excited for. But yeah, come say hello if you're going to Breakout.
Fantastic. I wish I could go to Breakout, maybe next year, but I'll be there in spirit with all of you fabulous people. And I have been your GM, Simon. You can find me on Twitter at Lucha Libris, like professional wrestling with books. I am a LARP write in the New England area. If you're in the greater Boston area and you're interested in playing a Decopunk game of running Magic Hooch in an alternate 1920s, superpowers like Miss Fisher's Murder Mystery or Bioshock. That's also very gay. You can check out adawaylarp.com.
Wait, you're also in Boston?
That's right.
What?
We should hang out.
Yes.
That's awesome. If you are interested in more actual play podcasts and shows, I'm on Sundays here at 3 o'clock for PWN Presents Slaughter, a play of the Worldwide Wrestling RPG, which is a great time if you like wrestling and RPGs. I'm also a cast member. If you're done watching John on New Acadia, you can tune in at 2:30 on Straticus for Secrets of Doskval, where we're playing Blades in the Dark. I'm also a voice actor for the Penumbra podcast, which is a very queer sci-fi and fantasy audio drama. If you like radio dramas at all and you like being gay in space, that's the podcast for you, the Penumbra Pod on Twitter. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have everyone as a player. I love this game. Once again, we play Pasion de las Pasiones, which is by Brandon Leon Gambetta. You can find it on Kickstarter right dang now. Go back it, please. We need more Latinx games. We need more romance games, things that are not just dungeon crawlers and RPGs. So please go throw that some love. Speaking of throwing love, stay right where you are because we are going to be rating Devil's Luck Gaming. So don't go anywhere. Show them some love. Show them how we do it on Welcome to the Party. Thank you so much for joining us on Vibrant, Visible, Victorious. We will see you next time.